It'll be on that one page. Let's do this for the next 25 people that have, we've seen others charge over $1,000 for plans like this. I'm going to waive that fee.
Call 888-456-7577, 888-456-7577, or text ZONE to 600-700.
Investment advisory services offered by Capital Financial Advisory Group, a North Carolina registered investment advisor.
At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join our team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com. WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I think, look, I grew up as a ball boy with my dad being the high school coach.
Yep.
So, it was like running on sidelines and being around the players and then doing it as a player. And then I coached 5 seasons from the sideline. So, I'm going to have to make sure my mic's off when we score a touchdown. Or if the quarterback throws a pick and it was covered and he reads the wrong coverage, I'm not just like losing my mind. So the guys at Learfield said that just keep your microphone off. And when we ping you to get on, say something nice, and then we'll be able to do that for the Heels this season.
Hi, everyone. It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. I feel like this is like old movie open music. We're already rolling the credits at the start of the movie. It's a Western. Hi, everyone. I'm Adam. We're on YouTube. Go to YouTube, search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan. Max Gordon in the hot seat today. I will say hi to Max in just a second. A lot of things to cover today. A lot of college football. It's College Football Wednesday because Chip Patterson is here. We talk a little golf ahead of the second playoff event and the penultimate year we will have this format. A little Major League Baseball conversation with Elliot Johnson coming up. The latest in NCAA derpitude. I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand what the NCAA does ever, but we will discuss it and more things and whatnot from around the world. The NHL is getting set. This is before we start. The NHL is getting set for something called. I want to get this straight. It's like the hometown remix uniforms. Every team will have just like a different kind of spin on a uniform. They've done this before. We did the reverse retros back in the day. I think those were the gray Whalers uniforms the Hurricanes threw out there. Max, as somebody who is part of the game day staff and you have done commercials for stuff that is on sale at the Eye, do you have, I'm not asking you if you have any knowledge of what we're going to see, but if you do, tell me offline. But do you have like a uniform that you would like to see the Hurricanes employ for a one-off game? Because I have my own.
I like, all I know is, because luckily I was able to be involved last year with the release of the new road jersey.
Yes.
I don't know anything about the one this year other than like what's been rumored online, which is that it'll be the Strut and Stormy on this one.
I love it.
Although apparently it might also be a gray jersey again, which I'm not crazy about. Like that gray Whalers jersey you mentioned. Not one of my favorites from the last couple of years, but I like the
rank near the bottom.
I like the inclusion of the Strut and Stormy. I like how much they're kind of incorporating it into the brand and leaning on it, like the way that it ties in with all the colleges in the area. Obviously, especially NC State, given they play in the same building and across the street from the football stadium.
You're not afraid to annoy Carolina fans who might also be Hurricanes fans?
I mean, they have the Ramses. They have a Strut and Ramses type of logo as well.
So the whole point reason I brought that up, the fallout, the pushback from the outdoor game was how it excluded fans who might live in Chapel Hill be Tar Heel fans because it was very NC State themed, right? They used the state marching band. Obviously, they played at Carter Finley Stadium, and it was very much an NC State-ish, had a college football NC State kind of feel to it, which is, I mean, it's their stadium.
It's the second of their stadiums that the Hurricanes play all their home games in.
What are we doing? Right. So, look, I was sort of kidding, worried about, the Tar Heels have like a strutting ram, right? They have that. I would love to see that logo on the front of a jersey, even if it's just once. I think it's I said this yesterday, we are first and foremost, if you were asking me what is, like, the NFL is the number one sport. But here, what do we care the most about? What is our identity? I mean, I'm not even going to say college basketball. It's college sports, right? Because we have college football is a big deal here, too. I would argue college football is actually a bigger deal than college basketball. We're just not as good.
Look, ask the thousands of tailgaters that are out there for like a 7 a.m. start before a noon game at Carter Finley. They'll tell you they love college football.
I tailgated in front of a Carolina football game. This is a long time ago, back when I had tailgating possibilities. In front of a noon game, we were out there like 8:30.
Yeah, now you can listen to DJ Diesel this season at like 9 a.m.
I can't wait for Shaq.
I might actually have to go check that out. That's so unique.
I need somebody to record that. I do need somebody to record that. Anyway, my whole point is that we are such a college sports town, even though we are a Hurricanes town, that to me it just makes sense to incorporate something that feels like college, and that's what the strutting Stormy with the C on his chest does. That is, I'd love to see that. It's on the shoulder of the road uniform now.
Road uniform. The only other thing I'd want to see them do with jerseys, and I feel like this is not an uncommon opinion, is I think a lot of people just want to see them go back to the classic set with the silver and the warning flags, the red home and the white away, or who knows, maybe one day the NHL will decide to flip it back and go back old school, and now you're wearing white at home again. I think that would be cool.
It would be cool.
But, I mean, anything other than just going back to that set, which they did already with the 25th anniversary a couple of years ago, but I think it'll be cool to see another new logo on the jersey and to see what all these teams do for Hometown Remix, since every team is getting one, what kind of different strides they can make, especially like new teams like Seattle that don't have like that much history to really lean on to make it.
No, Seattle should use like old like Supersonics. They should use a Supersonics jersey. That would be very cool. Look, I'm a fan of new. I think the Hurricanes have multiple logos to use, right? And they should lean into that. I'd love to see for the like we have our black uniform has a different logo on the front than the red and the white. I'd love to see even another one involved. I mean, I'd love to see the team go back to red. I know they did that. Was it last year for the 20, however many years with the 25th anniversary team when they went back to red as the primary home color? Did they do that? I like the old font.
Yeah, I think they swapped out, or did they swap out the jersey, or maybe they just didn't wear like the new red one as much, and it was just kind of like they did it as the home jersey for the playoffs, which was
right.
I think was definitely the right call. And honestly, if I had it my way, they would just go back to that classic like early 2000s set for both jerseys. But
I didn't love those old Hurricanes jerseys. I've liked the font. Like, look, I'm getting old. It's harder to discern a 6 from an 8 with the rounded numerals. It just is. Sorry. So I like the bigger numbers, which is what they used a couple of years ago.
Big block font.
Yeah, I mean, it was sort of diagonal too. It almost had a menacing look to it. I kind of like that, but. Ultimately, these uniforms are going to be new. They're going to, probably a one-off. They'll be different looking. I would love to see Strut and Stormy. we'll see how the Hurricanes go after that. But yeah, I don't want Gray. I really don't want Gray. And I will say very quickly before we start, I was not a fan initially of the white jerseys they wore last year. They grew on me.
Winning will make you a fan.
Yes. In retrospect, winning the Stanley Cup in them was awesome.
I also think they look. I actually like those a little bit better when they wear the white helmets, which they only did once or twice. But I think it's a really cohesive look when they do that. So I hope they do that a couple times again this year.
I'm not really a fan of the red helmets unless you're wearing red jerseys. I'm more of a fan of wearing the white helmet. But they kind of made that switch a few years ago, didn't they? It looks a little bit like Russian army stuff, but whatever. Is what it is. All right, let's get to the meat of this program.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Joint practices. Yes. You know what the difference between a joint practice and a real practice, or not a real practice, an actual practice are, Max? You get to fight with another team. Didn't the Cowboys and Saints just get into a fight yesterday at their joint practice?
Yeah, they got into quite a tiff.
Yeah, there were helmets thrown. Like, come on, can we calm down? Panthers and Jaguars got into a little bit of a dust up today. Frankly, don't care. That's part of it. Happens in your own practices. Of course, it's going to happen when you go against another team. Brian Schottenheimer, by the way, the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, after their tiff, as you said, with the Saints.
Yeah, I'll keep that between me and the team. But, yeah, it was more about mindset, mentality, ability to refocus when bad stuff happens. And, again, we're going to play on the edge, and we're not going to take, I'll say the word again, from anybody. But at the same time, I don't think that they were the only ones stirring up the I think we might have been stirring it up as well. But it was a sloppy practice all in all, and it's got to get better.
Look, these things happen during games. They're going to happen in joint practices, whatever. I'm not a huge fan of joint. Well, I shouldn't say I'm not a huge fan of joint practices. I think that there is a large mistake made, and I think this is by coaches, of assigning too much importance to these joint practices as though they are like good substitutions for putting these players in games. Practices are not games, even fake games, preseason games, which are a far cry from regular season games, but at least the cadence is like a regular season game. Practices are practices, and there's just no way to dress it up. Maybe the Panthers could have an offensive line problem? Eesh. All right, so just from reading accounts from today, looked like, again, the interior of their offensive line was not in top form. I know it got better as the practice wore on, but I do believe that it got better when we got away from ones versus ones. Yes, the Panthers have had some injury issues in the middle of that line, but why do we not think that matters too? Like, the Panthers have to know that if, especially in the case of a Robert Hunt, who only played in 2 games last year, Damian Lewis has basically been an Iron Man for Carolina since he signed. But he also has had his injuries during the preseason. But Robert Hunt only played 2 games last year. And he only played in about 10 or 11 the year before he came to Carolina. It was last year with Miami. Like, these are really good players. But it doesn't really matter how good they are if they can't play. And the depth, I think we are finding out, is a little bit of a problem. We already know that they are down to just 2 healthy offensive tackles. With Rasheed Walker on the left side and Monroe Freeling on the right. Freeling, as a rookie, who played primarily the left side late in his career with Georgia, is definitely talented, is the long-term, I think the long-term left tackle, more likely than the right tackle. But even he has had some growing pains, and there will be issues for him this year. That is a ton to ask for him to step in. Not that it's an unfamiliar position, but it takes time for rookies at that position to really be successful. There's not a lot of depth. Yes, maybe Taylor Moton will be back early. Maybe Ike Ekwonu will be back early. Moton certainly provides depth because if Moton can come back, he's going to play, which means that Monroe Freeling is your depth. And Ike Ekwonu might also come back and provide depth. I don't think he is unseating Walker at left tackle, but maybe Ike Ekwonu becomes depth in the interior of your offensive line as well. It wouldn't be the first time that a tackle moved inside and became very successful. Mekhi Becton won a Super Bowl with Philadelphia, right? Playing left guard. He was drafted as a tackle by the Jets back in the day, I believe, out of Louisville. So I am a little concerned about offensive line for the Panthers, and if you are a team that fancies itself a running team and a play-action passing team, none of it works if your offensive line is no good. If you are a team to drop back and throw it 50 times, then you could manage your offense with a weak offensive line. It would just be a lot of short passes. But that's not the Panthers. They must have a good offensive line to be an effective offense. And right now, I have my concerns. I don't know if the solution's on the waiver wire or not. I actually think that more than likely any solutions come from within. Moving on to college football, this happened very late in our program yesterday. Billy Edwards Jr. is the man at North Carolina. He will be the starting quarterback. He was named as such yesterday on College Football Live. Former FSU quarterback and ACC Network alum E.J. Manuel excited for what's next for UNC's quarterback.
Yeah, Zoop, I'm excited for Billy Edwards. One, because the young man has dealt with a lot of injuries throughout his college career. I think this is his fourth stop at college football, but ultimately he got the job because he's probably the one that can go through the process of getting the offense in the right play, not turn the football over. Huge opportunity over the seas to really just kind of change the trajectory of his career. So wishing him well, wishing him a healthy season. If he can stay healthy, Carolina will have a chance with him at the helm.
All right. I have no idea if he's going to be any good or not. He barely played last year. He was hurt at the University of Wisconsin. He played his previous 3 years at Maryland. Didn't really play a lot his first two. Was good as a junior. Not great as a junior. Good as a junior on not a good football team. So a lot of the stats are skewed by the fact that the team wasn't very good. But he doesn't have, for being a fifth-year senior, there's not a lot of reps there. There just aren't. And there aren't a lot of great options for UNC that ultimately don't lead us to where this is probably going to end up, and that is with Travis Burgess, the freshman quarterback, four-star quarterback out of Georgia, ultimately stepping into a starting role or a more high-profile position for UNC later on in the season. Miles O'Neill is in a very similar boat to Billy Edwards Jr., albeit in a shorter period of time. Whereas Edwards is a redshirt senior, O'Neill is a redshirt sophomore. And look, I have no idea what's going to work out with at quarterback for UNC, but there's really nothing in Billy Edwards' background that would suggest that this is anything other than, yep, he's the oldest guy So we'll give him the first crack and kind of work our way down or up. I don't know, down the ladder. My guess is that Miles O'Neill would get second try, and that ultimately this might fall to Travis Burgess, 4-star freshman quarterback out of Georgia. All right, the NCAA was at it again. I love this story so much because it highlights the idiocy that has permeated throughout the NCAA. Actually, idiocy is not the right word. Arrogance is the right word. I mean, it's all it is. We see that on a daily basis with decisions that they make regarding everything, but this is even better. So Rodney Bullard is a wide receiver at Michigan State. He played at Valdosta State, which I believe is Division II. Is Valdosta Division II? For 2 years, 23 and 24. He actually redshirted in 22, where he was on the football team. Now, he entered college in 2021, but he was a part-time student and not a member at all he was not part of the football program. If you were a full-time student in 21, your clock starts. Doesn't matter if you're part of the football team or not. And you get, even using the old rules, 5 years to play 4. Remember that's what the rule used to be. You would get 5 seasons to play 4 active. Keep in mind, part of the football program in 22, redshirted. Played in 23 and 24 at Valdosta, and he played in 25 at Michigan State. So he's been at Michigan State. He's only been active for 3 years. He has 1 more year of eligibility, except the NCAA is not buying that he was a part-time student at Valdosta State in 2021. They do not believe Valdosta State when they tell the NCAA that he was a part-time student. I mean, this is just mind-blowing. He actually entered Valdosta State after high school with an associate's degree. He took college credits while in high school and amassed enough college credits to get an associate's degree. So the academic part of this has been more than satisfied. When he got to Valdosta State, they accidentally enrolled him in a class that had not yet shown up on his transcript out of high school. A college class that he took while in high school, they enrolled him in at Valdosta automatically. Then, when it showed up on his transcript, apparently the paperwork or whatever didn't take that class off of his transcript, so he was then declared a full-time college student, which he was not. Even Valdosta has vouched that he was not a full-time student. The NCAA does not believe him. In the NCAA's own rules, this is true. Part-time versus full-time student is at the discretion of the school where that student was. So the NCAA says to Valdosta State, you tell us what he is. This is in their rules. They say he was a part-time student. The NCAA right now is saying, bull, we don't believe you. He's not eligible. What are we doing? They deserve every lawsuit they lose. Every single lawsuit. They're going to lose this one too. All right, one more thing. He's earning college credits in high school. Had an associate's degree when he got to Valdosta State. I mean, he might be a full lawyer by the time he gets out of Michigan State. Anyway, Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike. We're going to start talking a little golf with Jason Sobel in a second. Now, this is the controversy, if it is even a controversy at this point. Liv is playing their last event of the season this week. Their season-ending event next week was canceled. There is rampant speculation that Liv will basically be put to rest forever after this week, especially if high-profile players defect, whether it's to the European Tour or back to the PGA Tour. And Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, friend of this program, would like to see players have an opportunity to come back here.
What I would like is a re-entrance tournament twice a year for the next few years. That basically you could take the top golfers in the world, Live Tour, PGA Tour, one-on-one, and you're playing for re-entrance into and onto the PGA Tour.
So what if a PGA Tour player loses that? Does he get kicked out? Is that like promotion, relegation? Because in some European soccer leagues, Max, they actually have a promotion relegation match. A team that might go down, let's just say you finish 18th, or I think there's only 18 teams in Bundesliga. If you finish 18th, right, or 16th, you would play the team that finishes third in Bundesliga 2. And the winner of that match stays in the top tier. The loser drops down. Is that what Evan is talking about? Like somebody who is struggling to stay on the PGA Tour would have to fight for his right to party with the big boys. Here's the thing. We're not going to have anything like that. But I do think that John Rahm, Terrell Hatton, Joaquin Neiman, some of the Cam Smith, some of those players have decisions to make. They could play fewer tournaments and for a lot less money on Liv if they all choose to stay. And if they all choose to stay, I think Liv will stay alive. They can all choose to play for a lot less money and again play for, severely diminished world golf rankings points and tournaments that don't really carry a lot of weight around the world. Or they can try to forge a path back. And that will almost certainly start on the European Tour. And there's nothing wrong with that. At all. Nothing wrong with that. But I think that Liv is ultimately going to go away. Liv will do whatever John Rahm does. If Rahm decides he has to stay, then Liv will live. If Rahm decides to come back, then Liv will die.
He needs to leave.
Yeah, he does.
Needs to leave and put it to rest.
His situation is very complicated.
Yeah, since they know that he'd still owe him $200 million or something like that.
They owe him a lot of money. He's going to be. Yeah, it is a complicated situation. We'll try to talk a little bit about it with Jason Sobel. But playoff event number 2 is in St. Louis. Jason Sobel from SiriusXM and BetMGM joins us next.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
Shoot, he scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam.
I'm Adam Gold, and I'm there.
Tim.
I'm Tim Donnelly, and I'm there.
Dennis.
I'm Dennis Cox, and I'm there.
Victoria.
I'm Victoria Bodenecker, and I'm there.
Paul.
I'm Paul Eihander, and I'm there too.
You'll find them all here on the brand new 99.9 The Fan app. To work, to school, the beach, the mountains, the arena, take The Fan with you wherever you go. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn out process. And listen, no closing costs. You may be able to even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. Call 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
T-Mobile is launching something no other wireless network offers. Introducing Nothing. Pay nothing today and walk out of the store with a new phone.
What did he say?
Nothing.
You definitely said something about nothing.
Exactly. Go to T-Mobile, pay nothing up front, and leave with a new phone.
Wait, nothing rules.
She gets it.
Hey, thanks for nothing.
For the first time ever, switch to T-Mobile, pay nothing. No taxes, no fees, no money down. And walk out with a new phone. There are 250 reasons to choose T-Mobile, and now nothing is holding you back.
On eligible devices with qualifying credit plan and 36-month financing.
Are you currently taking weight loss injections, but worried about the side effects or the muscle loss? Or maybe you're just tired of slow progress or a monthly bill that never goes away. At Raleigh Weight Loss Center, we have the off-ramp you've been looking for. We show you how to transition from medication dependence to metabolic freedom. The proprietary nutraceuticals we use helps protect your muscle and stimulates natural fat burning, so you can finally get the results you want without relying on a pharmacy forever. Deep down, we know that better health comes from better habits, not better chemistry. Let us help you take back control.
Hey, this is Dennis from 99.9 The Fan. Summer is ending, and now is the time to prioritize yourself. Get your confidence back and set your long-term health goals. Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Schedule your free 15-minute phone consultation with Raleigh Weight Loss Center and see if their program is right for you. Schedule today by calling 919-897-7506. That's 919-897-7506 or online at RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
This is what WRAL weather coverage sounds like.
Thunderstorm warning right now in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
When your safety is a priority.
An indication that there is a tornado on the ground, so get in your safe spot
in this area. Get in your safe spot right now.
With the tools that make a difference.
WRAL Storm Tracker is inside the storm.
WRAL has the only dual Doppler radar in Wade County.
Hear it and see it every day.
It looks like the storm is doing exactly what we predicted to do.
That's WRAL News. Weather coverage you can count on.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a lawyer, but getting some guy who just watches courtroom dramas.
How does the defendant plead? Guilty.
Wait, what? Also, objection.
You object to what?
Erroneous.
Counsel, approach the bench.
Hey, can I get a whack at the gavel?
You wouldn't settle for just any lawyer, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This is Adam Gold.
We're going to have Seth on the show next week when he gets back from vacation. He was by a pool. What are you doing? Get off Twitter.
It's nicer to be on Twitter when you're by a pool anyway.
No, just stop engaging with people.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorham producing the program today. We are headed for playoff event number 2. Scotty Scheffler won by so many shots last week. The playoffs should be over, but they are not, and that's okay. People will be interested at Belle Reve. I know Justin Thomas. I saw an interview with him yesterday. He's excited to get back there. I heard Victor Hovland is excited because it's a place they don't spend a lot of time at. He likes new venues, new cities on the PGA Tour. We're going to have some of that, my guess is, going forward. Jason Sobel from SiriusXM, BetMGM, so many other places, joins us on the Adam Gold Show. Sir, I appreciate your time. How are things?
Things are good. Thanks for having me, Adam. I thought it was interesting. You mentioned Victor Hovland right there. He said that in his press conference yesterday. Yeah, I love coming to new courses and traveling the world. I went to Asia last year, and I went to India, and I like discovering new cultures. I'm no offense to St. Louis. I'm just not sure he's going to find the same thing in St. Louis that he did in those other places.
They have fried ravioli, Jason.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
I think Victor will appreciate the fried ravioli in St. Louis, and good barbecue too. Not to mention if he's into baseball. I mean, you and I are Mets fans. I can't stand the Cardinals. I hate the Cardinals more than I hate the Yankees and Braves. But it is by a million miles. But it is a great baseball town, and so I will give them that. Before we get into playoff event number 2 and maybe what the playoff will look like going forward in PGA Tour, I'm not going to say 2.0. That would be a ripoff of Live, but we'll go 3.0 because it really is a new way of looking at PGA Tour golf. What is the path back? I'll just go right there. What is a path back for Jon Rahm? Forget about Tyrrell Hatton or Joaquin Niemann or any of these other guys or even Bryson DeChambeau. What is the path back for Jon Rahm on the PGA Tour?
I think, Adam, we've seen it. And it's either going to look like what Brooks Koepka did this year, or it's going to look like what Patrick Reed is in the process of doing. And for those who haven't been paying that much attention, essentially the PGA Tour extended an olive branch. It was there was a very specific cutoff of recent major champions that included Koepka and Bryson and Rahm, and didn't include Phil Mickelson, who had won the year before they did. But that said, they were allowed a one-time comeback, and Brooks Koepka didn't automatically get into the biggest events and ultimately didn't wind up qualifying for the playoffs and sort of played a lot of the second-tier events and didn't play them to the best of his ability and might wind up playing the second-tier events next year, including plus the major championships, which is kind of a weird sort of schedule. I wouldn't be surprised if Jon Rahm gets something like that, or the Patrick Reed route, which is, hey, you're still suspended for a year after your last live event. And so Patrick Reed has gone to the DP World Tour, in fact, played so well in his first few events early in the season that he really hasn't played a whole lot of golf because he's clinched his PGA Tour card already. And he's playing this week, I think, for the first time in a non-major in the last 4 or 5 months. And just kind of cruising around, hanging out, have a nice summer with the family, and you're back on the PGA Tour starting this fall.
Yeah, it's funny. People, I put out, like, here's what my President's Cup team would be, and I didn't have Reed on it. And they're like, where's Patrick Reed? I'm like, he ain't on the PGA Tour. It's a PGA Tour event. It's not run by the PGA of America like the Ryder Cup is. So those two things are different. But my only problem with, and it's not my problem, what I perceive that the PGA Tour, whether the organization or the players, and I know those things could be the same, the only thing is that I think there would be more pushback towards Rahm than there was towards Koepka, because Koepka, fought his way out of Live to return to the PGA Tour. Rahm has... I think he's unhappy at Live. That's the way I read body language. But I also think that he hasn't really done maybe enough with the players to kind of ingratiate himself to them. And Brian Rolap, they said, he's the new commissioner of the tour. He said, this is it. This plan, this return plan is a one-time deal. And Rahm passed on it because he's got a contract with Live. I just think it might be a little bit more complicated for him. He might have to go to the DP World Tour.
If that's part of that record, he might have to go play there for a year, and he's going to play well enough. He's a top 5 player in the world to get back to the PGA Tour. If and when it happens, look, Jon Rahm's been playing major championships while part of Live for the last 3 years. Yeah. And there really hasn't been any backlash towards him. Maybe some fans don't like him as much as they did before this happened, but quite frankly, he's going to come back at some point. He will be back on the PGA Tour, I think. The PGA Tour players will accept him as one of their own. The fans will sort of shrug and go, okay, life moves on. Right. John will probably say something to the effect of, look, I don't want to live in the past. I want to move forward in the future, but it feels like the right place where I need to be right now in the most competitive tour, and I'm happy to be playing here right now. I'll say something with all the right sentiment, and we'll all just kind of let it go on, and we'll move forward.
Would we get the same reaction for Bryson DeChambeau?
I think so. Look, Bryce has become a more well-liked player over the last few years than he was 5, 6, 7 years ago. This is a guy who stayed at Pinehurst after he won the U.S. Open and signed autographs and took pictures with literally every single fan that was out there. With his YouTube channel, people tend to gravitate toward him a little bit more than they used to. And so I think it'll probably be the same reception. At some point, look, you can't stay mad for so long. You get a fight with somebody, you're like, man, for years we weren't good, and now we made up. At some point, you can't go back and say, yeah, but I'm still mad at you for all those years. You just sort of move on. And I think the fans, the players certainly will move on at some point. But that said, I don't know. I think it sounds like Rahm wants to find a way back at some point in the near future. I don't know about Bryson. I have no idea what he wants to do. I don't know about the other players.
Yeah, Joaquin Niemann has had just an incredible career winning golf tournaments on LIV, and it has not translated really at all to major championships. Cam Smith has essentially been non-existent in majors since winning the Open Championship in 22 at St. Andrews and then shifting over to the LIV Tour. Tyrrell Hatton was in it to win it last year at Oakmont in the U.S. Open, only to fall short. So he was already at LIV. I think these guys would all be good additions back on the PGA Tour. It'd make the PGA Tour a lot better, a lot deeper. We'll see how all of those things shake out. Let me ask you real quick: do you like the current PGA Tour playoff format?
Oh, that's such a loaded question.
Yeah,
Adam. You know
it
that.
is.
I think it's fine. And here's the problem with the playoffs.
You're right.
Is that it is. It's just the 20th edition of the FedEx playoffs. In the years, it's like, yeah, it's okay. And then they change stuff. And we're like, yeah, this got better, but that got worse. And the fact of the matter is, if there was a perfect system, a perfect format for this, we would have figured it out over the last 2 decades. I don't know that there is. And I say this, and I know I was listening to PGA Tour radio earlier in the car, and people are calling in saying, what if they did this, but then they had a triple match play elimination? Or what if they had cumulative points that would, for 3 weeks, okay. Like, I am not going to sit there and tell anyone that their idea is not worthy of implementation at some point, because who knows? I don't know what would work. I don't have any better ideas right now. That said, I think the problem for the PGA Tour is the problem that they've had all along, which is we have to serve too many Masters. We've got the fans. We want to make it creative and interesting and volatile for the fans, and we want to make it fun for people to watch 3 weeks of playoff golf with the best players competing. But they've also got the rights holders and the sponsors. Look, you want to have match play for 3 weeks, and elimination and volatility, and a real playoff structure where your team during the regular season, you might get knocked out in the wild card. Fine, that's great, except you have to think as a sponsor, think as a rights holder. If we hand over a match play Final Four of 4 guys who are outside the top 20 that people don't care about, it seems counterproductive to what you're trying to do as the PGA Tour, which is have a big bang finale at the end of this thing. So I can see it from a lot of different perspectives and why it's okay. Like it's right now, it's fine for the fans because you get 3 weeks of the best players competing against each other right before football season. It's fine for the sponsors and the rights holders, which should have the Scotties and the Rorys and the Xanders and all the big names at the end of this thing. Is it great for one entity? I don't know. Is it bad for any one entity? Is anyone getting screwed here? I don't think that either. Put up on this for now.
Here's what I've never quite understood. We're in America. This is an American sport, the American Sports League. It's based here, even though there are events outside of the borders. And we are familiar with how playoffs work. In the Super Bowl, it doesn't matter if you went 17-0 during the regular season or 16-0 like the Patriots. You can lose, right? You could get knocked out in the first round. We see this routinely. I don't understand why there have been complaints about, how all that regular season work doesn't matter. Yeah, it's playoffs. It shouldn't matter. We're talking about a postseason. Why don't they just go, 70, 50, 30? If you're not in the top 50 in the first playoff event, you don't advance. If you're not in the top 30 of the 50 players who advance, then you don't advance. Well, I don't understand why. And then just have the Tour Championship. Top 30 players play. Winner wins the Tour Championship. Well, so Why would that be the worst thing we've ever heard?
It wouldn't be the worst thing, but here's the difference between these things in this analogy, is that if the Seahawks and the Patriots make the Super Bowl or the Rams and the Broncos make the Super Bowl, people are still watching it because it's the Super Bowl. And there's going to be fans of both teams. There's going to be interested parties, and you're still going to get those ratings. I think in golf, if you lose a Scotty and a Rory in the first week, I mean, you literally would have lost Rory McIlroy on the first day in Memphis last week. He played so badly, shot himself out of the tournament. He's basically done for the playoffs after that. Okay, that's fine. You lose one, that's fine. You lose a few more. Do you really want to end your season? Individual sports like golf are dependent on the superstars. It's not NFL football. It's not the NBA Finals where we're going to watch because it's going to be an interesting contest. If you have the best players in golf getting knocked out before the championship for the PGA Tour after having great regular seasons, again, I feel like that's counterproductive to some of those entities which have invested in the product. And I get it. From a fan standpoint, volatility, I say this all the time. I don't care if 25 winning score, if a final stretch of a golf course has volatility where guys are making birdies and they're making bogeys on the same hole, and we see a lot of leaderboard movement, I like that. I get it. As fans, we want to see volatility. We want to see change. We want to see things moving up, things moving down. And, hey, as of right now, if he makes this putt, he's in next week. If he misses, that said, I don't know.
Jason Sobel, Sirius XM PGA Tour Radio. We lost you there for a second. Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. Rory McIlroy could have shot himself out in round one and shot himself out of the tournament, but if making the top 50 becomes the goal, I bet Rory approaches rounds 2, 3, and 4 very differently. Let me just ask you very quickly about Scotty Scheffler. Is this sucker over now that Scotty figured out how to win again and make every putt he's looked at? Are we done? Do we know what's going to happen over the next 2 weeks?
I have a good feeling what's going to happen this week. I think Scotty is on a roll right now, and Scotty is motivated. Yep. And I think he goes out. But that said, nothing he does this week matters towards next week. So he could be by far the best player for 4 rounds in Memphis and 4 rounds in St. Louis and 3 rounds in Atlanta and hit a couple of bad shots on the back nine next week, and all of a sudden go, oh, wait, someone wins by 1 and they win the whole thing. That's kind of how it works.
Yeah, that's golf, and I don't know why it's only golf in these 2 events. Should be golf in the last one as well. Jason Sobel, you're my friend. I appreciate your time. I hope you're feeling better. I know you put out. I wouldn't put out that I had back surgery on Twitter. You posted a picture of yourself going in for back surgery.
That might have been after they had fed me lots of drugs right before the surgery. But I had spine surgery. I'm 5 weeks removed from spine surgery. And I'm walking 18 every day. I'm not playing golf, but I'm walking 18 with my buddies. Walking's the best therapy right now, and I'm going out there for some very long walks with the boys.
Oh, very, very nice. And I know it's been very temperate all across the United States, so it's nice, cool weather for you. Said nobody anywhere in this country. Jason, I appreciate your time, man. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, buddy.
You got it. Jason Sobel here on the Adam Gold Show. When we come back, one-timers, you ask questions, I have answers one time. Next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple. Be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
You probably know that rechargeable batteries power electronics like mobile phones, gaming devices, and power tools. But did you know these batteries are also found in devices like electric toothbrushes, CPAP machines, and many more, and should not be disposed of in your trash or recycling bins as they can cause fires? To see a list of devices with lithium-ion batteries and where to dispose of them safely, visit batterysafe.nc.gov. That's batterysafe.nc.gov. Remember, skip the bin. Turn your batteries in.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
Boating is a favorite national pastime for millions of North Carolinians and contributes $9.1 billion annually to the state's economy, helping to support local businesses from marinas and dealerships to restaurants and tourism. Here is Robert Newsom of the National Marine Manufacturers Association.
Boating remains popular because it brings friends and family together to enjoy the outdoors. That time on the water also generates significant economic activity. Nationwide, recreational boating supports 812,000 jobs and 36,000 businesses, 93% of which are small businesses. And there are many ways to get on the water, from owning a new or pre-owned boat to renting or joining a boat club.
Each year, millions of Americans get out on the water, driving economic activity in communities across the country. To learn more, visit discoverboating.com.
Your child's doctor shares your goals, a healthy future for your child. Doctors recommend vaccines throughout childhood because they protect what matters most, your child's future from preventable disease and serious illness. Discuss any questions you have and check that your child is up to date and talk about any concerns. You're right to have questions. Get real answers. Start a conversation with your doctor today. Visit vaccinesforkids.nc.gov. Paid for by NCDHHS.
Gear up this fall with the new All-Pro battery by Steel. Tackle any task with 60% more peak power. And a fast charge time of just 10 minutes means it's ready when you are. The All-Pro battery is just the upgrade your shed has been waiting for. Outperform the outdoors with battery tools by Steel. Exclusively available only at your local Steel dealer. 60% peak power. Comparison between AP300PC and AP300S. 10-minute charge time to reach 80% with AL1602MO.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First, drown it with a bucket of water. Then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said,
if it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips. Because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This is Adam Gold.
540.
Yeah.
Right, the big outer belt loop. Why don't we just call them inner loop and outer loop? Don't give me north, south, east. It changes. Mm-hmm. It's a circle.
Yeah, they should. They use it for belly buttons.
Right, inner and outer.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Use it for belt lines.
All right, I'm done with the rant.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorin on the ones and twos. Next hour, Chip Patterson. We'll talk college football. Hour number 3, Elliot Johnson on some pretty significant pennant races in Major League Baseball. Going into play yesterday, we had 6 teams in the American League separated by 1 game for 1 spot. That is a free-for-all. Doesn't matter what your record is. You got a chance when we hit the middle of August. We're basically into late August now. That is absolutely awesome. All right, one-timers. Yes, sir.
All right, we've actually had a pretty active chat box in the YouTube chat today.
Love
Be sure
it.
to go to 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Look up The Adam Gold Show. Hit subscribe and have your voice heard in the chat. We got a few one-timers here. Billy asks, Adam, what are your thoughts ahead of a new Premier League season?
Oh, man. How do you feel about City with no Rodri?
Not as good.
No, not at all. I do think the City will make a few more moves before the window closes. Look, we have a Premier League group chat because we do a pick'em league, and honestly, it's Arsenal's league. It's not even close. I think the next best team in the Premier League, playing their best, if Arsenal plays to their capability, there's more than a 10-point gap between Arsenal and the next best team. So it's Arsenal's league. I think they will play much better, attractive football this year than they did last year because they've got a title under their belt. So at least it won't be hateful to watch because Arsenal was tough to watch last year, even as they were the best team in the league. And to me, it wasn't close. It was a mirage that it was as close as it was. So it's Arsenal's league. Second place doesn't matter. Well, the next 4 teams will be fighting for European positions.
And that'll be City in second place, probably again. This is from Conebread, who says, since most folks have had their day with the cup, which one has been your favorite so far?
I don't know, man. Nick Ehlers with the cup and a Ferrari. That's a good one. Everybody's taking it to a hospital, which I think is great. I thought my favorite picture or video was Jordan Martinook surprising Seth Jarvis.
That was fun.
That was my favorite video,
I think,
of the whole thing.
Aho bringing it out on the stage in Finland with all the people there, that was pretty cool.
Yes. Aho's a hero in Finland.
Yeah, the ticket prices for the game there reflect that. One more here before we get to the break. Ronald asks, while it doesn't matter, how could Nate Shepard be left off of the Doak Walker Award watch list?
Good thing is this. Get off to a good start, you'll be on the semifinal list. Those are not finals. Those lists are not. These are the only people who are eligible. So those lists will be adjusted, but I also raised an eyebrow.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. It's hot. It's too hot to think about bad things. So let's save thousands when we buy a house. What? How do you save money when you buy a house? Home ownership is expensive. Buying the home is expensive. We've got a down payment. I've got to pay closing costs. Let me stop you right there. You don't have to pay closing costs. Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary, home of the original no closing cost mortgage. Gordon Miller invented it in 1987, brought it to the Triangle in 1996, and homeowners have been saving thousands ever since. You don't have to pay closing costs. Some companies will tell you it's a no closing cost mortgage, but they're actually folding that into the loan amount. Never! At MillerLending.com on the World Wide Web. We're still calling it World Wide Web in some places. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary, an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 250-2146.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Wake Orthopedics. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks from training camp as the regular season approaches. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Myth: everyone's drinking. Fact: more students are choosing not to drink alcohol than people realize. And it might not always feel that way, but a lot of students are making choices to stay focused, stay safe, and stay in control. And that takes confidence, because leadership is about knowing your limits and being okay standing by them. Real friends respect that, back each other up, and look out for one another. Make a plan, trust your choice, and don't be afraid to speak up. Talk it out, NC, because not everyone's drinking, and it's okay to choose differently.
Learn more at talkitoutnc.org.
Hi friends, this is Mark Pons from Chapel Hill Tire. There's nothing quite like a North Carolina summer, unless of course your air conditioning decides to stop working. If your AC isn't blowing cold, is making strange noises, or just isn't keeping up with the heat, now's the time to have it checked. This month, take advantage of our summer AC special, save $40, and let our ASC certified technicians make sure you're ready for the hottest days of the year. Schedule your appointment today at chapelhilltire.com and drive happy.
It's almost football season in the Bull City, and Duke football is back. Don't miss Duke's 2026 home opener as the defending ACC champions take on the Tulane Green Wave at Brooks Field at Wallace Wade Stadium. Kickoff is Saturday, September 5th at 3:30. Tickets start at just $37 and include free parking. Coach Manny Diaz leads the charge. Get your seats now at goduke.com/footballticks or call 919-681-BLUE. Let's go, Duke!
At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join our team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
Logan Fury did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he bought a mini treadmill. Is walking on it during video conference calls more distracting than he thought? Yes. And is that because he overestimated his foot-eye coordination? Definitely. But it's Logan's savings, and if he wants to burn calories and any chance at a promotion, we say, good for you, Logan. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
Get in the hole! That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Kaepernick, as a player, what he has is a series of some very significant moments. Coming back down from 17-0 to win an NFC championship game. 3 noteworthy games against the Packers. The one in the playoffs in 2012, the opening season game in 2013, and then in the playoffs at Lambeau Field that year where they came back to win a playoff game. He was a very, very, very good quarterback. I think it was a Hall of Fame trajectory necessarily, but he's a dude that we would talk about a lot more about football than were for the other things.
I thought he was an outstanding player. And then when he took a knee, people lost their minds. My opinion. It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gordon is on the ones and twos. You can find us on YouTube. Go to YouTube, search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan. There's a chat box. You feel free to use it. Comment on the show. Who knows? Maybe a little bit later on, we'll do another one-timers. And you can get your question answered. First of all, I appreciate anything that isn't norm in the chat box. We love to answer questions that are stuff that we don't generally talk about. Like during the hockey season, I would say 90% of the questions are about the Hurricanes. It's like we went weeks where there were no other questions other than the Hurricanes, which is cool because obviously the Canes, I think we're had a pretty good year last year, right? I think we had one question, but that was about the Stanley Cup celebration. But the Hurricanes had a good year last year, and I think they'll have another one again this year. I was talking in the hallway about the Florida Panthers. Here's my own feeling about the Panthers, and I'm not going to put this on Twitter because I don't need Panthers Twitter to lose their minds. I think there's an assumption that the Florida Panthers and the Carolina Hurricanes are going to meet in the Eastern Conference Final again. I think that's an assumption. We look at the Metropolitan Division and say, well, it's Carolina's to win. Carolina would have to underachieve to not win. I don't know that that's the case. I think Washington is good. I think the Devils are good. Hurricanes are going to have to get off to a good start and play well.
It's a good division, but the Hurricanes are the best team.
I think the Hurricanes are, on paper, the best team. I think Washington is very good. I think they have Rangers have the best goalie in the division. I'm not sure Washington doesn't have the second best
Logan
goalie
Thompson
in the division.
That was before they signed him to that extension, that was the guy I was like, oh, maybe the Hurricanes could try to go get him. And then he signed for 5 years at a very reasonable number and put up Vezina-level stats. He didn't win, but he was a contender for sure, and he probably will be this next year too.
I have my doubts about Washington's blue line as a group. I think the Devils might have goaltending issues, but I think the Devils have a very good team. I actually think Carolina matches up well with the Devils. I think Carolina can play against them very well. So if it comes down to anything close, I like Carolina's chances over New Jersey. After that, I don't think there's anybody who's that good. I think the Islanders might end up being the fourth best team in the Metro. But there's an assumption that, Florida, they only missed the playoffs last year. I agree with this part because of all the injuries. And yeah, they missed the playoffs because of the injuries. To me, the Alexander Barkov injury completely derailed their entire season. But it ain't like he was the only guy who got hurt. They had plenty of other injuries.
Yeah, Tkachuk was out until December or January.
Middle of the year, Brad Marchand was out. Sam Bennett was out. Aaron Ekblad missed time. Seth Jones missed time. Dirty little secret, they're not a young team. I know Carolina's not necessarily young either, but Carolina's old like in a couple of spots. Other than that, fairly young.
Yeah, the only real, I think, like young impact players, and granted, probably some more in the depth, but I just think it's Lundell and then a lot of veteran 28 to 30 whatever year olds. In the case of Brad Marchand, 39 or 40.
Brad Marchand is hurt now, had surgery. They don't know if he's going to be ready at the start of the season or not, but he had surgery in the offseason. I think the assumption that Florida just returns to being what Florida was is a false. To me, it's a false narrative. I think they could be one of the best teams in the league again. I really do. I think they could. But remember, Bobrovsky, even though he was terrible last year, Bobrovsky's gone. He's in Toronto.
Yeah, he can't. They won't have him finding that peak playoff level again.
And Jacob Markstrom, who typically has been good in year one in locations, Jacob Markstrom is still a wild card. And they have, what is their other goalie, Akira Schmid, who was at one point with the Devils. Then he was backing up in Vegas for a bit. I don't know about their goaltending. And again, I think they've had a fair number of injuries that they have to deal with going forward because older players, you just never know how they are going to react coming back from injury. So I'm not saying that they won't be good. I think if you assume that they will, I think you assume at your own peril. And at the same time, the Atlantic Division is amazing. On that side, I don't know who's going to miss the playoffs on that side. I assume Florida's
Atlantic.
Yeah, I assume Florida's going to get back in.
I don't think Toronto's bouncing back into the playoffs next year either.
I don't think they are either, but as a team that, let's just call them, a playoff hopeful, if they were in the Metro, I think they'd make the playoffs.
I wouldn't be shocked if they make it next year either, but I just don't think with the quality of teams there are in that division that they can finish ahead of a Montreal or a Buffalo.
And it's because of that division. It's because of Buffalo, Ottawa, Montreal. Look, Detroit probably should have been a playoff team the last several years. I'm not saying Detroit will be. But again, if Detroit were in the Metro, I think they have a much better chance of making the playoffs. Like two of the two worst teams in the playoffs last year, for me, were Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. They finished second and third. Like the Metro is softer than the Atlantic. And I think that the quality of the teams on that side of the Eastern Conference makes it much more difficult for Florida to get through it all. I still think Montreal could end up being the best team on that side.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Montreal's got issues too, but I think Montreal could end up being the best team on that side, but I think it is going to be very competitive. I think Tampa's going to have something to say about it. I think Buffalo won the division last year for a reason. They have a great roster. Is their goaltending going to hold up? It didn't really in the playoffs. So is their goaltending going to hold up?
Also lost Alex Tuck, 30-goal scorer.
That's a big-time loss. What is Ottawa? I think Ottawa regenerated a little bit even after trading Brady Tkachuk. Look, I just think that division is very difficult. If Florida's back in, somebody's got to come out. My guess is
Ottawa.
My guess is that it's Boston.
Oh yeah,
coming out.
I forgot they made it.
But here's the thing. Like, Boston's got a lot of good players too. Not to mention one of the better goalies in the league in Jeremy Swayman. So, I think Boston comes out and Florida replaces them. But I don't know where Florida replaces. I just think that division is really, really good. 2 quick things before we break. Max Gorin, you had mentioned that the ticket prices for the Hurricanes 2 games in Finland, they're in Helsinki, right?
Yes.
That ticket prices they're not World Cup levels, right? They're
not quite that high.
Ask them for a mortgage payment.
Maybe like the worst seat for South Africa versus Czechia. Like I remember those were like $250, $300.
So that's basically what the get-in price is in Helsinki,
yep.
right? That's look, that is what it is. Especially, not a lot of NHL games get played in Finland, so they don't figure that there are a lot of Americans coming over. This is a showcase to the Finnish hockey fan. They've played these games in Finland, in Switzerland, in Czech Republic before. This is awesome. I mean, I wish I could go cover it. Can't do it, but I wish I could go cover it. I know I just saw that the U.S. Open starts next week, right?
Yeah.
The U.S. Open get-in price just for a grounds pass is $363, right? So for those people who do not know, when the Open starts, I think it's Monday, the U.S. Open starts. When it starts, might be the following Monday, I'm not sure. But whenever it starts, you've got essentially half of the men and half of the women in a 128-player field playing on day one. Almost. I actually think they carry it to a third day. But, I mean, there are 4 dozen matches, maybe more, in each of the first 2 days. It's just an incredible festival of the sport. And I grew up in that area, and my cousin and I used to go every year. We used to give one of the ushers, ticket takers. This is back before a whole lot of security and all of these things changed. We used to just reach out our hand as though we were handing them a ticket and simply hand them like folded U.S. currency. $20. Hand the ticket guy a $20 bill. He'd just wave you in. You don't have a ticket to the stadium court because every ticket has, well, at least at the time, would have your opportunity to go sit in the stadium. But you have once you're in, you can watch all sorts of matches all over the grounds. And there are, 20 different courts in use during the U.S. Open. And you can see some incredible matches on all of the courts. So I understand $363 is a steep price just to get a grounds pass and get inside the gates at the National Tennis Center in Flushing. But, man, if you're a tennis freak, if you want to go see the U.S. Open, there is no better place to be. It is awesome, other than the fact that it's hot as hell. But it's tremendous. What a great event the U.S. Open is. All right, we'll break. We'll come back. Chip Patterson is going to join us on the other side. College football is almost here. 10 days? 10 days out?
10 days.
Today's the 19th, right? No.
Yes.
Yeah, today's the 19th. So 10 days from today, Carolina and TCU in Dublin, State and Virginia in Little Brazil. Next.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Football is back. NFL preseason is back, and the excitement is there. The Panthers looked great in the Hall of Fame preseason game. Haynes King was electric. They got the win. Everybody celebrated. But let's pump the brakes a little bit. Kenny Pickett is still the backup quarterback. It's still Bryce Young's team. Haynes King can be a nice piece.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Football season is back, and there's no better place to watch it than the Dugout Tavern and Grill in Apex. College football Saturdays bring $4 hard seltzers and $3.75 Miller Lite pints. Then it's NFL Sundays with $1 off New Belgium pints all season. Pick all the winners of the 1 o'clock games, and you could score a New Belgium prize pack and a Dugout gift card. Brunch starts at 10 a.m. all weekend. After the game, check out the brand new dart area and join a team. Dugout Tavern and Grill in Apex is your football headquarters.
With over $110 million in total prizes, new scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery are dazzling the crowd. Get quick wins from Hit 50, Cash, Loteria Grande, and The Star. Massive cash blowout, bursting with $150, $300, and $3,000 prizes. Play and watch your luck shine. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.86 to 9.37. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids Max Strength. Its dual-active formula has 1,500 milligrams of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaids spells powerful relief. 1,500 milligrams is our highest amount of antacid per tablet. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
This is Adam Gold.
You know, soap attracts dirt, right? That's what soap does. It attracts dirt. Right now, Bill Belichick is soap. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's soap.
Yeah.
He's attracting all this dirt.
Or he's like an overripe banana and it's attracting all these gnats.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorin on the ones and twos. 10 days from right now, college football season underway. By this point, North Carolina and TCU will be, I'll say, approaching halftime. I know college football takes forever, but I feel like we'll be approaching halftime. The noon start in Dublin. Let's dig right into what's going to happen. during the course of the season. CBSSports.com, college football maven, moderator of the Cover 3 podcast, my friend Chip Patterson. How are you, sir?
I'm well. I hope you are.
I am. I'm excited for the start of the season. You know how I like schedules and all that. So we're going to kind of examine the top of the food chain of the sport, and look at their schedules and see maybe who, because of the schedule, might have it a little bit more difficult than some of the other teams. So I'm going to start off with a broad question for you, Chip Patterson. How many teams right now do you look at, and this will change obviously, in terms of personnel, how many teams do you think can make a reasonable argument to be a national champion?
7.
And
I feel real good about my 7 too.
And are those?
I think we've got the drop off after 7.
Okay.
AP Top 25 came out on Monday. Same 7 as the coaches poll.
Yeah.
Same 7 as the CBS Sports 138, which ranks every team at the FBS level. You can take your flip through Phil Steele, your Lindy's, your Athlon. A lot of people have the same 7. And
right.
The thing that I think is so fun is that I don't really think any one of them is a definitive 1. In fact, I could say that we've got a 7-way tie for second. I think that Miami, which is down there at 7 in the AP poll, has as much of an argument for number 1 as the Oregon Ducks, which are currently number 2. You know, if you look at Ohio State and Oregon and Indiana, and then you take into consideration a Georgia and a Texas, throw in Notre Dame and Miami, I think that's your 7. And I think that other teams will jump up and make the college football playoff that are not in that 7. And other teams may win games in the college football playoff that are not in that 7. But again, you told me, based on roster and based on just overall caliber and talent, I would bet that the Final Four has those 7 teams, and that some combination of those 7 teams are the ones that end up winning in the quarterfinals and advancing to the semifinals.
Right. By the way, if all 7 make it to the Final Four, Chip, you have you that would be awesome. Let's start at the top, because you know me, I've been critical of a lot of teams' schedule. I'm not going to be critical here of Ohio State's. Going to Austin to play Texas. That is an incredible way to start the season, and I would say normally, it shouldn't hurt them. But their conference schedule does them no favors. I think we assume Illinois is going to be good at least, right? A trip to Iowa, and then 3 games in a 4-week span with a bye week in the middle of it, at Indiana, at Southern Cal, and home against Oregon, number 2. That doesn't even count the Michigan game. I have no idea what Michigan is going to be like. I'm going to guess Michigan will be good. Kyle Whittingham knows what the heck he's doing as a head coach, and if Michigan has any talent at all, and I assume they do, they should be pretty good. That is a pretty difficult schedule for Ohio State.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Adam. It's been since Luke Fickell was the interim coach in 2011 that Ohio State has not won 10 games.
Right.
I mean, it's just you are feeding Ohio State with one of the most challenging schedules you could possibly imagine. So much so that at 9-3, Ohio State's still a college football playoff team.
You might be right.
So I think that the Buckeyes are in a position, as I have projected this thing, is that they finish the year at 10-2. They wind up playing in the first round, maybe as a 5 seed, 6 seed, 7 seed. And the odds makers have them as the second most likely national champion. I mean, it's just, and this is the thing. I think in the Big Ten, you go and you look at Ohio State and Oregon and Indiana, nobody's getting free passes. They all have to play each other. You mentioned USC, you mentioned Washington, Michigan, what I think occupied that next tier. I do think this is a reset year for Illinois. It speaks to the consistency that Brett Bielema has established, that a reset year for Illinois is 3-3 and not 4-8. When a lot of years, a reset year for Illinois is going 3-9 or 4-8. I think this is a little bit of a reset, reload year for the Fighting Illini. But still, the way that all those top teams in the Big Ten are going to play each other, I don't think any single team gets to Indianapolis with an undefeated conference record. I think they all end up taking at least one conference loss. And I think that could be reflected across the country, where the only teams that I think could end up 12-0 at the end of the year play each other on November 7th with Miami and Notre Dame.
I was going to get to that. Miami's schedule, friendly. I mean, it's not, it's in, they play an ACC schedule. They don't play necessarily the hardest ACC schedule. I don't think it's the easiest either, but it's certainly not the hardest. So that'll be, it certainly works in their favor. I will get to Notre Dame in a minute. Because you alluded to them playing on November 7th, which is going to be an absolutely amazing game. But Ohio State playing at Texas is different from both Oregon's non-conference schedule and Indiana's non-conference schedule. So what do you think about Ohio State at Texas to open?
Oh, it's stupid. We'll overreact to it.
No, not about that. Do you think Ohio State is going to win in Austin?
I've got time. Listen, I get to watch the first quarter of both these teams blow out an inferior opponent as a 30-point favorite before I get to – listen, I sat next to Julian saying he's got some more meat on his hips. Okay. Maybe the boy can scoot in a way that he couldn't when he looked like a scared deer staring down the Miami pass rush in the college football playoff last season. Maybe Julian saying he's got to go and show me that. Texas just brought in Will Muschamp. We've got to see if that leads to any definitive changes on the defense. Adam, it's a non-conference game between heavyweights. And in this era, not in the 2016, 2017, 2018 era, in this era, when those big dogs go against each other, it's like an NFL Sunday, and you just don't know. It's going to be a dumb pick, a bad penalty, one way or another. What I will tell you is, sitting here today, I would pick Ohio State to be able to go and win that game, because I think that Texas playing at home in big games like that sometimes just feels really, really large. I was in Austin when Joe Burrow and LSU came into town for a week 2 battle in 2019, and the fanfare and the way the city of Austin was just exploding all for that weekend. It just sometimes those moments will consume the home team a little bit. So I'll get Ohio State to come in there and come out with the win, but I reserve the right between now and week 2 to change my mind.
I think so too. Texas will not get the same leeway. I know they argued that 3 losses last year should have still gotten them a playoff spot. I am not. I actually think they had a good case to be made for it. They will not have the same case to make for it this year, in my opinion. Oregon's, again, non-conference schedule. Boise State, in name, at Oklahoma State. I have to assume Oklahoma State will be better than the train wreck they were a year ago, but not nearly good enough to deal with Oregon. Oregon's got trips to Southern Cal, Illinois. Maybe it's a reset year still. I don't think that'll be easy. At Ohio State, Michigan, and Washington. They'll need to go no worse than 10-2. I think we agree on that. Before I get to Notre Dame, I think Georgia's got a pretty favorable run in the SEC. At Alabama and at Ole Miss will not be easy. They can lose one of those games. But other than that, home against Oklahoma, the rest of the schedule looks kind of easy to me.
Look, Georgia's my pick to win the SEC. Georgia's, so in that sense, I'm reinforcing what you're looking at, but I'm seeing a more challenging path. I don't think you can just roll over Florida with John Summerall now there and a roster that, if fully healthy, is going to be a lot more competitive. I think that the issue for Georgia is that they lost a ton at the pass catching positions. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of obvious ways to replenish that their running back room is already starting to get a little bit thin. And to win some of those games on that schedule, you're going to have to go out there and score points. You can't just Stetson Bennett this thing. Gunnar Stockton's got to go out there and throw it. And the thing is, last year he did against Ole Miss, against Tennessee. Gunnar Stockton had 300-plus yards and was lighting up secondaries. But a lot of the wide receivers who caught those balls are gone. And now we're kind of back in an old Georgia routine of, are they going to get a case of the drops? Are they going to be able to come up with the big moment when they need it? Because simply playing solid defense, running the football, and throwing to your tight ends is going to be able to let Georgia wake up in the morning, tie its shoes, and win 8 games. But to be able to win 10, 11 games, they're going to need to be a little bit more dynamic. And I'm not doubting Gunnar Stockton as much as I am doubting the wide receiver position. That's a question that's got to be answered before I'm ready to go full chest. Nobody can touch Georgia.
Well, here's the thing about it is that this is the way I look at schedules. It should matter. I don't think it ultimately will, because it never does, really. I think their non-conference schedule is pretty soft. Toughest team they'll play outside of the league, I think, is Georgia Tech. And I'm not saying Georgia Tech's terrible. I don't think they're going to be terrible, but I also don't think that they're going to be pushing for a playoff spot. Now we'll get to Notre Dame. Is it fair to say that they play a 3-game schedule this year? A trip to BYU and home dates with Miami and SMU?
I mean, you could say 1-game schedule. And here's the problem.
Giving SMU and a trip to BYU. I mean, I'm just thinking on the road at BYU.
There was a number Notre Dame can hang on the board that BYU will be stressed to match. You were talking about Georgia Tech earlier?
Right.
BYU is ready to win almost every game on its schedule as long as that game is played on their terms.
Right.
Their ability to beat you up at the line of scrimmage, Bear Bachmeier, good dual-threat quarterback, LJ Martin, Big 12 preseason player of the year at your running back. As long as they have a lead, they can just continue to wear you down, wear you down. BYU gets into a 14-0 hole. No. This is not the way that we are built to win football games. I think Georgia Tech's going to be that way this year. I think Georgia Tech's got 2 stellar running backs and a great offensive line, and I think that as long as they are controlling Aiden Burr, their kicker's one of the best kickers in the country. I think as long as Georgia Tech is holding a lead or within 1 score, they can beat almost anybody, including the Georgia Bulldogs. But I think they could get stressed if a team goes to put a number up. And in the case of BYU Notre Dame, in the case of Notre Dame in general, it's because a relitigation and a reevaluation of what their young quarterback CJ Carr did during his redshirt freshman season shows someone who is not just coasting on his last name. Not that others are, and I understand college football is littered with royal families at this point, but CJ Carr's ability to process and deliver the ball on time in the right places is on par with the kind of NFL draft buzz that is going to allow him to raise the level of all those wide receivers and everybody else around him. Because you do have to replace 2 first-round running backs. You don't have any Cam Colemans or Jeremiah Smith types out at the wide receiver position. But, man, they are just loaded up with talent. And I know this is crazy to think, but I think Marcus Freeman's a good coach.
Oh, why is that crazy to think? I think he's a very good coach. I think the NFL was very interested in him this year.
I think that there was a time when Marcus Freeman only had 10 men on the field for the final play against Ohio State. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
A couple years ago, Ohio State's right at the goal line on offense. Notre Dame's missing a defender. Ohio State scores the game-winning touchdown. There was a time when Marcus Freeman lost to Marshall and to Stanford. There was a time when Marcus Freeman lost to Northern Illinois. And look, there's a list, you know? I mean, you could argue that if Notre Dame was more aggressive with CJ Carr against Miami, they could have won that game in the second half the way that Miami was trying to hand it to them.
To me, that was more Miami trying to give the game away. And, of course, Miami was a little lucky in the first half, too.
And if CJ Carr had been, if you'd let him go the way you did at the end of the season, maybe it could have been different. But I think Marcus Freeman is a top 6 or 7 coach in all of college football. I think he'll do a good job of keeping this team focused. I think they're going to go 12-0. I think they're going to show up as the number 1 seed, and I think they're going to lose in the quarterfinals because they didn't play nobody all season, and whoever comes out of the first round is going to take them out.
Using 10 to try to beat Ohio State, very Norman Dale. My team is on the court. My team is on
Texas. It's going to be a team like Texas in the 8-9 game who wins and then goes to play Notre Dame in the Cotton Bowl or something. And it's going to be a while since they'd really stretched out along the way.
Texas doesn't make the playoff, by the way. Let me get to that's my wild prediction is Texas won't make the playoff. About Indiana. How do they stack up in terms of talent this year as opposed to last year?
The thing that's so fun about Indiana is that if you look only at recruiting rankings, which is to suggest that the number that was assigned for these players coming out of high school, for the most part, just kind of locks them in. Their numerical roster talent number based on high school rankings is not that impressive. And yet their roster spend, how much money they spent on this roster, is on par with college football playoff contenders and national title contenders. So where's the gap there? Are they blowing money? Are they bad at spending money? Because I've got a Kurt Cignetti evaluation booklet that certainly says the guy understands how to get the right players and how to put them in the right places. That his ability to evaluate and stock the roster, not just with JMU players, right? But also with Notre Dame transfers. Also with, Nick Marsh is coming over from Michigan State this year. I think that there is a benefit of the doubt that needs to be afforded, that when Indiana is spending enough to be able to have one of the top rosters in the country, we should trust that they have one of the top rosters in the country, because the on-field results show you that they know how to put the right pieces in the right places. They do have to win still. They do not overwhelm the way that a former, your old Alabama or even your 21-22 Georgia teams do. They don't come at you in waves. They get injuries at the wrong position. Things could get very, very dicey.
Or if Hoover isn't as good as Mendoza.
Oh, Hoover could be Curtis Rourke, and we're still fine. This team.
I don't even know who Curtis Rourke is, and I laughed at it. I just want you to know that.
Curtis Rourke was his first starting quarterback.
Oh, okay.
Curtis Rourke got him into the playoff, but couldn't beat Notre Dame.
Okay.
They were not good enough at quarterback or good enough at offensive line to beat Ohio State or Notre Dame in Kurt Cignetti's first season. They got obviously much better at quarterback with Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza. They also got better along the offensive line. I just think that he has held his coaching staff together all the way back, before James Madison, even for some of these guys. They don't make mistakes.
Right.
As long as the standard is still there, they're going to wait for you to make mistakes. It is an NFL, almost mindset that they have right there with a very old and experienced team.
Chip Patterson, as always on a Wednesday, what you're describing is the way in my mind, best case scenario would happen for North Carolina. That if they had the personnel, that Bill Belichick as a head coach would be able to maximize the schedule wins and losses wise, and maybe instead of lose a game that they shouldn't lose, win a game or two that they shouldn't win, but take care of business in all other areas. That to me is what Kurt Cignetti has done at Indiana. Let me just move on. I'm going to skip Miami. I agree. I think Miami's schedule could be sneaky difficult depending on whether or not Wake is good, because you're going there. Clemson, I have no idea. I know they were 26th in the AP poll, but I have no faith that I don't think they're going to be better in terms of personnel this year than they were last year, and last year was sort of a disaster. I don't know what Florida State and Pitt are going to be like. And after the trip to Notre Dame, they close with Duke and Virginia Tech before the final win at home to Boston College. So it looks like there are potholes or little landmines in Miami's schedule, even though it is an ACC schedule. But I want to ask you more broadly about the league. I know SMU and Louisville are going to be fighting it out for theoretically second. But who else could show up in the ACC championship game? I mean, State's schedule is front-loaded, and I mean, friendly. Could State be there? Is Virginia Tech a team to watch?
Virginia Tech is not a team to watch because I don't love the draw that Virginia Tech got with the schedule. And this is what leads me to an interesting answer to your question, where I would not put either one of these teams in a power rating ahead of SMU or Louisville, or a power ranking ahead of SMU or Louisville. But two teams play each other that each, with the right breaks, could end up in Charlotte playing Miami, and it's NC State and Cal. The winner of NC State Cal could legitimately have a leg up that could end up being a factor in the ACC title race. And Cal is not going to have a lot of games where they are extremely obvious underdogs. And what Cal is going to have that most teams don't have is real NFL talent at the quarterback position with Jaron Sagapolitelli. I think that the way that they have built around him first is so important to allow him to be supported. I mean, Malik Washington at Maryland is another one, just incredibly gifted player who other teams were just salivating at the potential that he might be able to hit the transfer portal so they could just throw millions his way. And look, JKS wasn't perfect. He made some freshman mistakes. He made some throws that he shouldn't have, but the arm talent is unreal. And the belief that Tosh Lupoy is sort of reignited within that whole Cal fan base. I mean, they used to churn out NFL players with regularity. I mean, there's an argument that one of the best high school football players of the last 20 years in the state of North Carolina is Keenan Allen, right?
Right.
Who went to Cal.
Yep.
I mean, Jared Goff, we keep going on and on and on. And I think that Tosh, being a Cal alum, really wants to get Cal back to that point where 7-8 wins is absolutely the standard, that churning out NFL players. And you know what happens when you're at that standard? You get a schedule break, you get an upset, and all of a sudden it's a 10-2 season, and then maybe you wind up there. So Cal and NC State both are in that position where the winner, if they're able to take care of business down the line, because there's still a lot of work left for both of those teams, there's also not a ton of obvious landmines for both of those teams after that game as well.
It might have been with you. I brought up the possibility that Cal starts the season, gets to the game at SMU undefeated. I mean,
UCLA is huge.
It's a long shot, right?
UCLA Cal is a fun game that is a legitimate coin flip between Nico Iamaleava and Jaron Sagapolitelli. So if you want to come join me in the announcer's booth for Cal and UCLA, as we're breaking down a battle of future NFL quarterbacks, Nico Iamaleava and Jaron Sagapolitelli, well then, just like the seat's open for you. Adam.
You tell me if you are going to be in an announcer's booth having to say those two names over and over and over again, I will sit next to you. I promise. Okay, as long as you don't make me say either of those two names. Just looking at Virginia Tech's schedule, 4 of their 5 road games. At Cal, at Clemson, at SMU, at Miami. Okay. That pretty much eliminates.
It's hard for me to paint
right.
The Virginia Tech goes 7-1 in conference, or 8-1. Like the 1-loss, 2-loss conference record for the Hokies in year one is some big leaps. Even if it's kind of like Penn State. I don't think Penn State's got the team to jump right back into Big Ten title contention after they played for the Big Ten title just 2 years ago.
Right.
They were in the Final Four just 2 years ago. But I think that the coaching's good enough, and I'm invested in the hire, and there's enough good players that they're gonna be a problem each and every week that they play. Just not quite ready to where they want to be. I think Virginia Tech, interestingly enough, to compare them to Penn State, will lay a good foundation to get them to where they want to be, which is back in that ACC title picture, something they have not done in 10 years.
All right, next week we're going to focus more on the local teams and some players as well as we get ready for the start of the season. Can't believe it's 10 days away. Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast moderator, my friend Enjoy your final non-football weekend.
Sounds good. Y'all be well.
You got it, man. All right, when we come back, we will stretch. We will place bets. I am adding up the losses from yesterday. Next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Did you know that the rechargeable batteries inside of items we use every day, like mobile phones and power tools, should not be disposed of through your trash or recycling? These batteries can spark dangerous fires in garbage trucks and at recycling facilities. There is good news. In North Carolina, it's easy to dispose of your devices safely. Learn more about lithium-ion battery disposal and find your closest device drop-off location at batterysafe.nc.gov. That's batterysafe.nc.gov. Remember, skip the bin, turn your batteries in.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple: be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. This month, we're looking at issues that affect families in every corner of North Carolina. Maternal health. My guest is Marissa Franks from the North Carolina Healthcare Foundation, who shares information about the Maternal Health Action Network.
No single hospital or organization can solve maternal mortality alone. It takes all of us in healthcare and in our communities to do that. But by sharing knowledge, listening to patients, partnering with communities, addressing barriers to care, and implementing proven practices, we can make a real difference. So I think our work demonstrates what's possible when healthcare organizations come together around a common goal, which is helping every mother and baby have the healthiest possible start.
You can learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And find out more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
At the North Carolina Agro-Medicine Institute, we know a safe farm is a profitable one, and we're teaming up with your local NC Cooperative Extension agent to offer the Certified Safe Farm program. It's a non-regulatory safety review with an on-farm walkthrough, health checks, and more. For a limited time, the NC Tobacco Trust Fund Commission is sponsoring up to $1,000 in cost share for participating farms to make safety improvements. Real help to protect you, your workers, and your farm. See more at ncagromedicine.org.
Are you taking care of someone on Medicare? Navigating Medicare can be overwhelming. You're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help you figure out what steps to take and when. SHIP counselors can answer your questions. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Gear up this fall with the new All-Pro battery by Steel. Tackle any task with 60% more peak power. And a fast charge time of just 10 minutes means it's ready when you are. The All-Pro battery is just the upgrade your shed has been waiting for. Outperform the outdoors with battery tools by Steel. Exclusively available only at your local Steel dealer. 60% peak power. Comparison between AP300PC and AP300S. 10-minute charge time to reach 80% with AL1602MO.
One Adam. Gold. One Adam. Gold.
Person in front of me in line had a box of wine.
Oh, yeah. I feel that person. If you are buying boxed wine on a Friday, that thing is open right now.
In the car.
Yeah. I don't even need it to cool down.
She jammed a big straw right through the top of the box
yeah.
in the
Went
car.
to the gas station to get a cup of ice. Like, they don't even care.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorin sitting in for Victoria today. She'll be back tomorrow. That's all of our understanding. Just like a doctor, midweek day off. When I was a kid at my dad's country club, the doctors were all over the place on Wednesdays. Apparently, that's the universal doctor day off. Anyway, Victoria will be back tomorrow. Max Gorin doing an outstanding job. It is time to stretch.
All right, well, you know how I like to come with world records on this segment whenever I get to produce this show. We've got a few today. A first one here, a man in Florida, Nicholas D. Marinis, also known as Nicky Buckets, has set a new Guinness World Record for the longest miniature basketball shot. He launched a miniature basketball 102 feet and 11.76 inches to break the Guinness World Record.
102 feet?
Obviously, this was not done in his living room because there's not enough room for that inside, so he's out in the street.
All depends on what kind of house you live in.
Had to be a big house if you can throw a 100-foot shot in, but 102, just short of 103 feet. I didn't know they got that far down into the minutia where it's hundredths of an inch, but 102 feet and 11.76 inches, longer than your typical mini hoops three-pointer for sure. Me and my buddies love playing mini hoops, and it's tough when you get more than 4 or 5 feet away. So
yes,
depends on the type of ball too. Some of them are bouncier than others, and some of them are kind of the soft, plushy material. So
Nerf. Did you have a Nerf?
I definitely had
hoop?
one when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I don't think we have one now, but definitely in the past.
Nerf hoops was awesome in my bedroom. I was a Nerf hoops all-star.
Oh yeah, all-pro, all-star, world champion. Another world record, a woman from the United Arab Emirates broke the Guinness World Record for managing to handwrite 150 different words onto a single sticky note. I'm going to try to pronounce this name. So
wait a second. So 150 different words onto one sticky note, one like 3M Post-it.
Yes.
Okay.
150. Apologies if I butcher this name up. Push Pujothi Ravikumar.
Okay.
29 put her skills at tiny writing to the test in Dubai.
She didn't write her name on it.
By taking it, no, certainly not. That would take up a little bit too much room. But said she always watched Guinness World Records as a kid and dreamed of being part of it. And I guess tiny writing was the idea that came to mind. And
sure.
150 different words, mostly 3-letter words, of course. She mentioned in order to get them all to fit. But yeah, 150. I think at best I can maybe do 50.
See, I couldn't do it because I only use the Pilot and like other pens that are a number 10. I don't like to use 7. I like a bold pen. You need extra fine to do that.
Yeah, you need fine tip, and you need to have some sort of, calligraphy, not quite calligraphy skills, but my handwriting is not neat and clean enough to.
Well, it doesn't have to be neat.
That.
You just have to be able to.
But they've all got
write.
to be legible, though.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
150, very impressive display of tiny writing.
Do you think you could list 150 3-letter words?
Ooh, it depends on if there's a time limit or not. I feel like eventually you could get there, but it would not be
during
easy.
the next commercial break.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. That's one.
I'm going to try. No, I'm not.
You know what else is a 3-letter word, Adam?
Bet.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right, I went 1 for 3 yesterday, which isn't bad. So it's plus money territory because all of my wagers always carry value. So that's not bad if you're following along. Not terrible. You go first, Max.
All right, I'm gonna go with a bit of a long shot strategy to try to guarantee a win out of my 3 picks.
Okay.
I'm just gonna pick 3 different first round leaders for the BMW Championship at Bellerive. Right. It's the next playoff event in the PGA Tour. Starts tomorrow. And even though it's the shortest odds, I'm just going to go ahead and first one pick Scotty Scheffler plus 1,000. We know how he can be kind of superhuman at times on the golf course, obviously coming off that, 8-shot win in the FedEx St. Jude. So he is plus 1,000, and he is the shortest odds to be first-round leader. So that will be my first pick.
Yeah, going to Sunday, I mentioned this the other day, my wife, not a Scotty Scheffler fan, is like, all right, he's not winning this. I looked at the leaderboard. I said, yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. There's nobody there that's going to play well enough to bother Scotty Scheffler. How long did it take Sam Burns to announce himself a non-winner? Like, 4 holes? We knew it was pretty much over. We'll start in Major League Baseball. Cubs, White Sox, Chicago, under 7.5. Pete Crow Armstrong with at least 3 total bases. That's plus 846.
All right, next first-round leader pick. I'm going with the number 1 player on the Data Golf Course Fit tool for this week at Belle Reve.
Really?
Apparently, it really favors long driving, and Rory McIlroy is the top strokes gained adjustment in terms of the Course Fit. Rory McIlroy plus 2,000 to be the first-round leader at Belle Reve. That'll be my second play.
I think he could be top 5. Rory's just not, his heart's not in it.
Just got to lead around, man. You don't got to win the tournament.
Yeah, his just heart's not in it. I love Rory, so. All right, I'll stay with baseball. It worked yesterday. It'll work again. Give me the Yankees in Baltimore under, I have over 9.5. Yankees, I was under yesterday. We'll go over 9.5 plus 228.
All right, last pick for me, a local college golf product who also, I think, picked up a win recently and is also very favored by the Data Golf Course Fit tool for Belle Reve, is Michael Brennan, who went to Wake Forest. He is plus 3,500 to be the first-round leader of the BMW Championship, so he will join Scotty and Rory as my first-round leader picks for tomorrow.
I like Michael Brennan more than I like Rory McIlroy. Brennan has played really well of late. All right, Champions League qualifying. First of 2 legs, Bodo Glimt. They are a Norwegian team, right? I think they play in Norway, Bodo Glimt. Matter of fact, they play inside the Arctic Circle, if I'm not mistaken. And they are playing, I can't pronounce this, Nijmegen from Netherlands. This is Champions League qualifying. Bodo Glimt's a slight favorite on the away to Nijmegen. Both teams to score, though, plus 209. Champions League qualifying for those people who are degenerates, because you kind of have to be.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The Pack Therapy Podcast is in session, thanks to the Red and White Shop. Join me, Tim Donnelly, alongside Wolfpack great Mike Glennon.
We'll set you up every week for Wolfpack football with inside information and insight into every opponent.
Plus, we break down the game-changing X's and O's.
And what to keep your eye on as we roll towards the college football postseason.
Follow and subscribe to Pack Therapy wherever you discover your favorite podcasts. Or you can watch on YouTube.
Rev up your summer at the Make This the Summer event going on now at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Grab summer adventures when you drive home a brand new 2026 Ram 1500 for 20% off. Excludes RHO. See dealer for details. Or expand your options for off-road exploration with a new 2026 Jeep Gladiator. Save 15% off during the Make This the Summer event. Plus, get 2.9% financing for 72 months. So get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington today.
Everyone is talking about the shots, but fewer people are talking about the cost, side effects, plateaus, or what comes next. I'm Dr. Craig McGiffin with Raleigh Weight Loss Center. If you started injections and now want a sustainable next step, our program is built for exactly that. We combine real food guidance, one-on-one coaching, and targeted nutraceuticals to help support a healthy metabolism, preserve lean muscle, and keep progress moving. We use a proprietary system that has helped over 100,000 people nationwide lose the weight, and many clients have seen major results without staying dependent on injections long term.
Hey, this is Dennis from 99.9 The Fan. Summer is ending, and now is the time to prioritize yourself. Get your confidence back and set your long-term health health goals. Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Schedule your free 15-minute phone consultation with Raleigh Weight Loss Center and see if their program is right for you. Schedule today by calling 919-897-7506. That's 919-897-7506 or online at RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process, and listen, no closing costs. You may be able to even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. Call 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join our team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Yeah, I mean, again, when we're talking preseason, always put a caveat on there that, it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
But, yeah, I mean, I think, we talked about it last week, right? You want to go out there and make everyone feel good about what they see from the team. And when you score, 14 points, with a touchdown late, you basically get blown out in the preseason in the Bills' new stadium. It's not a good look.
It is the Adam Gold Show. What's up? I am Adam Gold. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. We're on YouTube. So if you were on YouTube, you actually just saw me struggling to put my headphones back on. I don't know why they didn't want to comply, but it was a struggle. Go to YouTube, search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan, and you can watch the proceedings as we move on throughout the show. Elliot Johnson, bottom of the hour. We're going to talk pennant race baseball with him. Is there really a question as to whether or not Pete Crow Armstrong's the MVP?
It's hard when you're contending with like the best player baseball's had in the last 5-10 years.
Yeah, but I just think that, first of all, we look for reasons to not give it to players who win it all the time, right? We went for a stretch where who could we give it to, give the NBA MVP award that isn't named Michael Jordan or that isn't LeBron James, when year in, year out, they are not only the best players but the most valuable. But I just think that especially the way Armstrong has played of late, I just think that he's demanding the award. That's probably one of the least important things to do with the, in terms of what we care about over the last part of the season. But man, to me, he looks very much like the most valuable player in big league baseball. And I am not even mad at all that the Mets traded him for half a season of Javier Baez. Not at all. Not at all mad about that. Why would I be mad at something like that? I'm going to talk to Elliot Johnson. bottom of the hour. Right now, it's Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
Before I move on, Max, are you excited about the Premier League? We're actually going to do a Premier League preview tomorrow.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm ready to see City get back on the field. I'm not going to lie, when I went over there in May for a game,
Right.
I didn't think it was going to be Pep Guardiola's last Premier League win as the manager of Man City. So,
save that ticket.
Yeah, well, it's not a physical ticket. A lot of turnover, so I'm curious what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
I assume they're probably safely going to be in terms of Champions League and everything, but who knows when you're in a period of transition. So I guess we'll wait and see, but I'm ready for it to get started again.
Yeah, they have issues to deal with, I think. And we talked about it briefly. After Arsenal, I think there's a lot of similarity in terms of squad quality. Now, once you get outside the top 5 or 6 teams, I think there's a drop-off. But, man, those teams don't have a ton of pressure on them.
I just want there to be battles. Like, I want the title race to be a race. I want the relegation battle to be tight.
Title race will not be a race.
The race for it's the 5th spot now that gets Champions League.
All depends, yes, but it all depends on how you play in the European competitions over the course of the season. So it's proper to just count on the first 4.
Still, it's some kind of tight battle in the standings there that can come down to the wire. Like, that's what I'm hoping for.
I think we'll have competition for European placement. I think there will be a relegation battle. I do not think there will be a battle at the top of the table at all. All right, let's get to the Wall of Sound. I'm excited about it too. Jack Collins, if anybody listens to Sirius XM, Jack Collins is going to join us tomorrow to preview the Premier League. All right, let's get to it. E.J. Manuel, Florida State legend at quarterback, now with ESPN, asked on College Football Live his thoughts on Billy Edwards Jr. being named the Tar Heels starting quarterback.
Yeah, Zoop, I'm excited for Billy Edwards. One, because the young man has dealt with a lot of injuries throughout his college career. I think this is his 4th stop at college football, but ultimately he got the job because he's probably the one that can go through the process of getting the offense in the right play, not turn the football over. Huge opportunity over the seas to really just kind of change the trajectory of his career. So wishing him well, wishing him a healthy season. If he can stay healthy, Carolina will have a chance with him at the helm.
When he says they'll have a chance, like a chance at what?
Well, here's the thing. Let's just say UNC's team is significantly better than they were a year ago. Chip Patterson, we'll talk about this more next week with Chip. Chip has said, well, they could be a touchdown better than they were a year ago. Let's say they're 10 points better than they were a year ago. Their schedule is ridiculous. It's just, when you look at it, it's hard to see many wins. There aren't even a lot of toss-up games for them. And that's the problem with it. Even if you say, all right, they'll go to Duke and win. Or they'll beat State. Syracuse. I mean, if they win all of the toss-up games, I still think we're talking about a 5-win team. If they were to win all the toss-up games. The schedule, if you could have a devastatingly bad, draw in terms of a schedule in the ACC, they got it. And that's the sad part. All right, to the Carolina Panthers. Dave Canales, the team is doing a joint practice with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Slow start for the offense. Good finish.
A little bit of a slow start in the first drive. Jags defense did a fantastic job against the 1-0 on that first drive. The guys settled in, and then Bryce just started finding T-Mac in different ways. He spread the ball around a little bit, but just importantly for us, explosive passes, touchdowns, things that went into the end zone. It was fantastic to see. Some of those were pretty dirty pockets. That's a really good pass rush group they have over there with Walker and Hines Allen, and Eric Armstead was getting after it. And so, Bryce had to move a little bit, but T-Mac was where he was supposed to be on time. The ball came up, and they made some fantastic plays today.
That's encouraging. Offensive line still a little bit of a work in progress. Speaking of, Monroe Freeling, 19th overall pick, right tackle, getting his feet wet.
This was great. You know, he had a chance to sit on that right side in one-on-ones. Walker, Hines Allen over there. And they really just, you know, they won a couple times. Monroe sat in there. He's big and strong, sat down and protected the pocket like he's supposed to. It was kind of the same in the practice. Some good, some bad, but battling. And just watching him get really comfortable just with the snap count, with his sets and all the things that he and Joe Gilbert have been working on. So it's good to see him take that next step.
All right, we talked about this yesterday. Bryson Tremaine likely will make the Panthers roster because of his work on special teams. Tight end Darren Waller was brought in. And we've talked about, well, the Panthers will probably keep 4 tight ends. What if one of those tight ends is Felipe Franks? Because he's not much of a pass catcher anymore, but he has value on special teams, according to Dave Canales.
I mean, he's certainly one of the top special teams players in the league, in my opinion, just in terms of his physicality, how he gets off of blocks, how he blocks on the return, in the return game. So in that phase, I think he's an elite player. As a tight end, he's continuing to grow and develop. This is a really competitive room. When you start to get an overloaded room, but someone is a critical special teams player, then the competition kind of spreads out to other positions. So it's the determination of, can we carry an extra back when we need this extra tight end? Can we carry an extra inside linebacker or safety when we have this guy that we're counting on, if there's a receiver that brings special? So Dan and I have to really look at that picture, and that's where it gets really hard and really tricky for us. But all these guys are trying. All these guys are putting great effort out here. We got another game coming up to evaluate how they can help us.
All right, I'll just say this. I brought this up yesterday, and I brought it up in the context of Jimmy Horn Jr., Jasim Reed, possibly John Mechie. You can't keep David Moore at the expense of some of these other players. Just because David Moore, and the head coach get each other, you have to think of value to the team. What can this guy bring? I know Dave Canales loves David Moore, but my gosh, if you need special teams players, it's just too important, way too important. All right, two more things. Let's start with Mike Golick Jr. on the fact that the Lakers had about 82 or so % of the team sold because Mark Walter needs money. He bought the team, the majority of it, a year ago, flipped it for about a $2 billion profit in 1 year. He needs money. Mike Golick Jr. going a different route.
Before they pocketed that money in the Mark Walter sale, they were just being paid out of the business. Like, this was their source of income. This was the thing that it wasn't like, oh, we started a hedge fund and now we can come in and buy, insert blank team here. So it was a different operation. And at times, because of that, it felt like the team was run in a way that held them back in terms of being competitive, especially in the era since Dr. Buss was no longer the owner himself and it was Jeannie. And, you still were able to get stars because it's Los Angeles, because the franchise has all of the glamour and appeal based on the stars that help build it up and make it great. But now it will be interesting, and I think the reason Lakers fans might care about this, just because you're already in a time of transition, right?
Yeah.
Where who's going to be making the decisions for my team at a time where we have turned the page from LeBron James?
Treating that like a basketball decision is crazy to me. The whatever's going on with the Lakers. Jeannie Buss has right of first refusal because it was agreed to. She has 5 siblings, and they all combined own 17.8% of the team. But it was agreed to that she has controlling interest. So if she says, we're not selling, I don't think they're going to get sold, at least that part of it. But Mark Walters, That has nothing to do with basketball. That has everything to do with survival. And my sense is that, as much as it might hurt, I think we all should be rooting for Team Mark Walters. Because it's an economy, a U.S. economy situation, more than it is an NBA situation. And finally, let me ask this question of Max before we play our last clip here. Do you believe, Max, that the preseason rankings play even a small role into where you finish the season among the rankings? And remember, these rankings will stop being used at some point, and we'll just use the college playoff rankings, which theoretically start afresh each week.
I would say a very, very small role. Very small. Like, I don't think it's determining who's getting in and who's not making it at the end of the day.
I think you're almost exactly right, because I think it's bigger than a small role. I think it's not a stated criteria. It's not on anybody's checklist when they say, who you play, what when you play, non-conference, conference, home, road. It's not any of those. But I can't for a single second pretend that the preconceived notion for all of these teams matters when we get to the end. And I'll just say it this way, and I'm not going to bring up any specific examples because right now my brain is not creating them. If you are Texas, we'll just use them as an example, preseason number 5, and you lose 3 times, but you get hot late, you win 4 games in a row to end the season, Texas will jump back into that mix, even if you're 9-3. And if you are a school that is not thought to be all that good, and you lose 2 or 3 times early, you've got no shot, playoff committee or regular poll, no shot to climb up into that room, into that. So I think there is more than just a little bit, but I think it is at most, it's probably more of a tiebreaker, but I do think it matters. This is where the preseason polls have annoyed me, because I do think there is, whether we, it's not whether we believe it or not, because it doesn't matter what we believe, but it's hard to unsee things. And I think because of that in college football, because it is entirely opinion-based, there's so little factual proof in college football. So little. All we have to do is say, why was Notre Dame ahead of Miami for the entirety of the season in the polls until we got to the last one? Why? We didn't see Notre Dame lose to Miami in week 1? We refused to believe that until the very end. It was a complete joke. So I do think there is something to be said for it. Here's Ian Fitzsimmons, who I think agrees more with Max than with me.
How many teams from last year's, let's go back to last year, in the preseason AP poll finished in the top 25 of the college football playoff rankings? 13. 13 of 25. Nearly half the damn preseason poll in the AP and coaches poll did not finish in the top 25. So how are the rankings being impacted? 7 of the top 15 weren't ranked.
Yeah, I just don't think that's proof of anything. That's the problem. We are dealing with an opinion-based sport, which I'm okay with. I'm just saying none of it is proof. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We're going to talk to Elliot Johnson at the bottom of the hour. A first in, trying to do the math here, almost 50 years is going to take place in December. I'll tell you what that is next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Football is back. NFL preseason is back, and the excitement is there. The Panthers looked great in the Hall of Fame preseason game. Haynes King was electric. They got the win. Everybody celebrated. But let's pump the brakes a little bit. Kenny Pickett is still the backup quarterback. It's still Bryce Young's team. Haynes King can be a nice piece.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
There's so much to love about North Carolina, but we all want more. More boundless views, more pristine scenery, more wildlife, more adventures, and more clean roads to get there. But to get more, we have to do less. Less littering, that is. Properly disposing of waste is never a waste of time. It leads to a more enjoyable environment for much longer. So, when traveling in North Carolina, make it your nature to trash your trash. Leave it more beautiful than when you found it. And we will all have more reasons to love NC. Litter less, get more. For more on the 7 outdoor NC Leave No Trace principles, visit OutdoorNC.com. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and Visit North Carolina, and part of the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina, in cooperation with this station.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. People are looking around their homes right now, and they're saying, I need this, I need this, I need this. You guys do everything for the exterior of your home. How do you keep it from being overwhelming for the homeowner?
Right, Adam. The first thing we do is we come out there, do an assessment with the homeowner. It's a no-obligation estimate, and we can break it up into phases of projects, or if you want to break it up into easy monthly payments, we come out there, give you a good plan. It's no pressure, no obligation, and whether it's windows, siding, doors, roofing, most of these projects we give you a lifetime warranty on for the rest of your time in the home. And then you can also break it up into easy monthly payments and make it manageable for your budget.
I love manageable. I love easy monthly payments. I love lifetime warranties. Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. These people are amazing. You should check them out online, aluminumcompany.com.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet. Choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Meet Morgan Jones. Morgan is about to step into a world unknown to most, thanks to Progressive's Renters Insurance, a place of fresh linens and turn-down service. You see, Morgan temporarily vacated her apartment and has gone to a hotel because a pipe burst in her apartment. A pipe that made her sense of reality and apartment ceiling all come crashing down. Luckily, Morgan checked into Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
One Adam. Gold. One Adam. Gold.
I told Jack in the car, you know what the word of the year is? He goes, what? I said it's 6'7". He just laughed.
I know.
It just means nothing, and that's fantastic that it's now the word of the year. What a country.
Can we bring back cool story, bro? That way, us millennials can be like, yeah, cool story, bro. I would love
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Elliot Johnson, bottom of the hour. Let me get to a couple of quick things before we have to take a break, before Elliot Johnson comes on. For the first time since 1979, real quick, it was a given that Michael McDonald was going to make an appearance today. You did not disappoint, Max. Love hearing it. But for the first time since 1979, North Carolina and NC State will play a non-conference game. They will play this in Greensboro. What is it called? The First Horizon Coliseum now? That's what it's called? Can I call it the Greensboro Coliseum?
Yeah, you can.
Can I call this the Big Two tournament? Used to play the Big Four in the month of December every year. But they are going to play a non-conference game. They had a big media thing over there in Greensboro today for it. They'll play another one next year. And this is my reminder that while very cool, and this could ultimately be a way for both schools to make a little bit more money, because by taking it off campus, they have the opportunity to sell this as a standalone game. I don't know what value. I'm not saying it doesn't have value. I don't know. I can't estimate the value that this has outside the parameters of the ACC television package. We know that Duke games that are outside the ACC package, meaning if Duke takes the game to a neutral site, which they are doing 3 different times this year. That's part of the Amazon Prime package. We know that carries a ton of value because Duke is the needle when it comes to college basketball. Carolina is a needle, not quite on the level of Duke, but they are. So it remains to be seen just what value this one has. Setting that aside, this is my annual reminder, certainly not annual, monthly reminder almost, that only ACC short-sightedness has removed this game from the conference slate. Last year was the first time in like 100 years that NC State and Carolina didn't play twice in league in a season. First time. I don't, for the life of me, understand how you could do that. Especially when we have decided that there would be 2, like year in, year out, home and homes. Right? Not necessarily permanent. Duke and Carolina permanently will play each other twice. But Carolina plays Louisville twice. Why isn't that NC State? I mean, I'm just throwing my hands up and go, what's going on? It just makes logical sense that you would do that. But too many things today are not logical when it comes to the ACC, and that's troubling. All right, when we come back, Elliot, by the way, tickets are available. Rams Club, I'm just reading from a Carolina release. I imagine it's the same thing for State, the Wolfpack Club. Will have first access to tickets because these tickets are sold outside of your normal season ticket package. And according to UNC, their tickets will go on sale, September 10th. I assume it's the same for NC State. That you can, after all of the fat cats are taken care of, then the general unwashed like you and I can go buy tickets on September 10th. When we come back, Elliot Johnson, big leaguer. I will tell you a cool stat about Elliot Johnson when we come back.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Are you taking care of someone on Medicare? Navigating Medicare can be overwhelming. You're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help you figure out what steps to take and when. SHIP counselors can answer your questions. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S.
government.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
Boating is a favorite national pastime for millions of North Carolinians and contributes $9.1 billion annually to the state's economy, helping to support local businesses from marinas and dealerships to restaurants and tourism. Here is Robert Newsom of the National Marine Manufacturers Association.
Boating remains popular because it brings friends and family together to enjoy the outdoors. That time on the water also generates significant economic activity. Nationwide, recreational boating supports 812,000 jobs and 36,000 businesses, 93% of which are small businesses. And there are many ways to get on the water, from owning a new or pre-owned boat to renting or joining a boat club.
Each year, millions of Americans get out on the water, driving economic activity in communities across the country. To learn more, visit discoverboating.com.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available. If you feel lonely, isolated, anxious, or overwhelmed, help is here all day and night. Call, text, or chat 988 without cost, without judgment, and without waiting for an appointment. You'll get support that can make a difference. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Gear up this fall with the new All-Pro battery by Steel. Tackle any task with 60% more peak power. And a fast charge time of just 10 minutes means it's ready when you are. The All-Pro battery is just the upgrade your shed has been waiting for. Outperform the outdoors with battery tools by Steel. Exclusively available only at your local Steel dealer. 60% peak power. Comparison between AP300PC and AP300S. 10-minute charge time to reach 80% with AL1602MO.
You probably know that rechargeable batteries power electronics like mobile phones, gaming devices, and power tools. But did you know these batteries are also found in devices like electric toothbrushes, CPAP machines, and many more, and should not be disposed of in your trash or recycling bins as they can cause fires? To see a list of devices with lithium-ion batteries and where to dispose of them safely, visit batterysafe.nc.gov. That's batterysafe.nc.gov. Remember, skip the bin. Turn your batteries in.
At the North Carolina Agro-Medicine Institute, we know a safe farm is a profitable one, and we're teaming up with your local NC Cooperative Extension agent to offer the Certified Safe Farm program. It's a non-regulatory safety review with an on-farm walkthrough, health checks, and more. For a limited time, the NC Tobacco Trust Fund Commission is sponsoring up to $1,000 in cost share for participating farms to make safety improvements. Real help to protect you, your workers, and your farm. See more at ncagromedicine.org.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
Turtle cake? Like, what do we... What?
Isn't that an ice cream?
What? Where's the confetti cake? Because, hello, confetti cake, delicious. With the little, I don't even know if it's real, but the little dots in the icing, like...
None of these are real.
What kind of fake thing that is, but it's delicious. It's my childhood. Like, that wasn't in the top 10. His opinion's invalid to me.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. We'll do a rewind in a little bit. So I updated my numbers. Texas on 64 losses right now has the last wild card in the American League. 5 teams have 65 losses. 1 game in the loss column behind the Rangers for the final playoff spot in the AL. Texas also just 1 game behind Houston in the West. In the National League, a little bit more spread out, but not much. Philadelphia at 58 losses. The Padres at 59. They man wild cards 2 and 3. Arizona, 61 losses. St. Louis, 62. Miami, 63. Miami is one game over 500, I believe. So you've got those 5 teams separated by 5 losses with 2 spots on the line. Padres had a very good win in New York last night against the Mets. Not that a win over the Mets could be considered a good win, but Fernando Tatis robbed a grand slam with 2 outs in, I don't know what inning it was. I think it was early. But he robbed a Met of a grand slam, and he hit 2 home runs last night. I don't know how that ranks with, who is it? Is it Josh Baez the other day who hit 3 home runs in his first 3 at-bats? Or how it ranks with the guy who robbed 3 home runs in the same game for the Angels. But that's a pretty good game by Fernando Tatis, who is somewhat of a mercurial player, but really one of the most talented players in the sport. Let's talk to Elliot Johnson, big league extraordinaire player who is one of, I'm just going to say, a handful of players. I don't know how big the handful is. That has homered off of 3 Cy Young Award winners in his career. I guessed one of them today, but I did not guess all 3. Elliot Johnson, how are you, sir?
It's quite an intro, Adam. Appreciate you.
Oh, you're welcome. Bartolo Colon, correct, is one.
He was one of them. Yep.
Right. And the other 2, I believe you said were CC Sabathia and Jake Arrieta. That's pretty good. That's pretty good grouping for you.
Those guys are tough and smart. Well, Bartolo, a little bit different. He was like Mariano. You knew what he was going to throw, and it was still really hard to hit. Just a turbo sinker that would start inside and end up a ball away. So, like, when you face Halladay, you have to retrain yourself because everything that looked like a strike was a ball, and everything that looked like a ball was a strike. And those guys were really unique, tough at bats. I mean, Sabathia was smart. He would get you to fish over a slider and never throw another one. And then Arrieta, gosh, he was tough, man. He could tell you the cutter was coming or a 4-seam or a breaking ball, and you still couldn't hit it. Like, he took care of himself when he was really healthy and really locked in. That guy was tough.
So explain to me how difficult it must have been to face Mariano Rivera, who essentially threw 1 pitch for his whole career. He was going to throw you a cutter. Basically, every pitch was going to be the same, and nobody could hit it. Except, I guess, for Bill Miller.
Well, yeah. And maybe Tony Womack and Luis Gonzalez pick some scabs. So the problem with him, so it's really just a physics question, okay? So, like, if you talk to anybody that's really big into physics, they'll tell you you're kind of looking into the future for where you think the ball is going to be because you have to commit to it. By the time the ball has left their hand, your eyes haven't quite registered it yet, Adam. And so you really have about a 0.1 second to make a decision because it takes you about 0.1 to 1.2 for you to go from trigger to swing. And it takes about 0.4 seconds for the ball to leave their hand to get to catchers. So you don't really have that much time.
Right.
And even though you know he's throwing a cutter, it moves so much, so late, so hard that you have to guess, not like anticipate where it's going to be, because back then it's not like we could ramp up, the jugs machine and have it throw 95-mile-an-hour cutters at him.
Right.
So you really just didn't have as much work. Like, I remember going up there to pinch hit in 08 against him, and he got me 2-0, and I was like, I'm getting on SportsCenter for sure. And I swung as hard as I could at him. I mean, I'm 23, I think, at the time, and I'm like, oh, come to daddy. And I swung as hard as I could and fouled it to the dugout, swung as hard as I could 2-1, fouled it into the dugout. And, like, I moved up in the box, off the plate, choked up, like, did all the things you can physically, mentally, like, all the video I've done. And then he threw one that started in the outside batter's box. And I was like, that's a ball. And then it clipped the back edge of the plate. And I walked back to the dugout like everybody else. So, I mean, really, just putting the ball in play at him is a victory against a guy that the ball moves so hard, so fast, so late. And you really just don't have the repetitions to be able to convince yourself because you don't have time to think when there's, you've only got 0.1 second to make a decision.
Yeah, Luis Gonzalez, that's just a little humpback liner that finds the outfield. And then the Bill Millers just kind of seeing eye base hit.
Thanks, Joe Torre, for playing infield in so the Diamondbacks could win the series.
Elliot Johnson joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I am going to talk pennant race with you in a second and a little bit of the MVP race, but I also want to ask you a question about the Dodgers and what's going on, what could be going on there. But did you see the Aaron Boone ejection the other day where I forget the name of the home plate umpire who has ejected Boone apparently 5 times in Boone's career? That he basically baited Aaron Boone to answer the question, what did you say? I didn't hear you. What did you say? Didn't hear you. And Aaron Boone said, you missed that call. And he went, I thought so, and he tossed him out. Like, if you're going to do that as an umpire, I think you should be suspended for that. Because he's baiting Boone. He didn't throw him out already, but he is baiting Boone so he could throw him out. I think that's the lowest for an umpire to do.
All right. So I'm pretty sure you're talking to the only person on the planet that can speak to this. So the umpires don't like him. All right, Adam. And here's why.
I get it.
Okay. So politics exists.
Oh, wait a second. We can't lose Elliot Johnson on that. We can't. We got to get Elliot back. Max, we got to get Elliot back so we can hear the rest of that story. All right? We lost Elliot. We got to get Elliot back so we can tell that story. All right?
Can you hear me?
Now there you are. Okay.
Okay. All right.
You're back.
All right. So I'm about 99% sure his name is Vic Carapazza. Okay?
I think so. Yes.
Now here's what you need to know about Vic. Okay. So there's politics everywhere. Vic married a woman who was the daughter of like one of the head umpires at the time. He was like the guy that decided who was in and who was out, who was evaluating the umpires.
Oh, wow.
And so the other guys hated him because what he did was he was playing chess out there to get his name up into the big leagues as quick as possible to get in her good graces, because the difference between a minor league umpire salary and major league umpire salary is significant.
Yeah.
And so they were upset that it didn't feel like it was merit based. Okay. So Vic, nice guy. But clearly he's got a vendetta, and anything in New York, you're always going to be, all of his family and friends are probably watching that game, and he wants to establish his authority. And so he probably is going to take it upon himself to, overemphasize anything that Booney does. I'm not a big fan I like Booney. I do. I don't like anybody that wears the Yankees pinstripes, but I do like Booney. He's a good guy. So Vic is clearly, there's a background, there's a history there, and he's just continuing to pretend as though it's a suspendable offense, or he can throw him out anytime he wants. Really, he's abusing the letter of the law. And so I would say that Booney knows that and probably understands, but he was trying to stay really close to the line, and Carapazza's like, now we have a history, see you later. So you're right, they should get fined, but even if they do, Adam, they're not going to publicize it. They won't ever do that.
Yeah, but they'd publicize it. I didn't say a fine. I said a suspension. And I think that should be on the table. Look, I think you and I, from our conversations, I am more, whether I agree with umpires or not, I don't believe in any way, shape, or form that umpires should do a press conference after games. We shouldn't treat them like players. They get too much flack when they make a mistake. They don't ever get credit when they get the call right. I know it's their job, but we don't give, it's to me, we make way too much about the officials in any sport, even though I understand how much they impact the game. But what he did to me was egregious in that he asked Aaron Boone to eject himself. And either if you know he said something, then just eject him. I would have no problem if he simply said, you challenge the call, which you can't challenge, boom, you're out. I have no problem with that if he had done that. And I know you're not allowed to tell a player, the manager, Boone can't tell the hitter to challenge the call. Hitter's got to do it on his own or not. But the conversation, John Boy Media did the entire thing. I don't know if you saw, they were like reading lips, and they had the conversation to a T in that I've only missed like 4. Like, he missed a lot. He missed a lot of calls in that game, and you can't really challenge them all. I mean, I guess theoretically you could, but you only get 2 missed challenges, and then we're done. I hate that, by the way. You should be able to either challenge everything, or we should have an eye in the sky that just tells us when the umpire's wrong.
But you can see the entitlements creeping up because his daddy, father-in-law, however you want to put it, is kind of his evaluator.
Yeah.
So I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen to him? He's got somebody protecting him no matter what. He's fine.
That is true. All right. Pete Crow Armstrong or Shohei Ohtani, who is the MVP in the National League?
Right now, it's PCA.
Thank you. That is the correct answer, I believe.
Yeah, it's PCA right now. Now, however, like PCA was the best player in the world the first half of last year, Adam, and then he really fell off and got streaky bad. He's in a good place right now.
Yeah.
He's making good decisions. He's not ambushing every first pitch. So if he can keep that up, then yeah, he should be the guy. But we still got another month or so to go. So, he's going to have to be able to sustain from here. And, it's not like Shohei's going anywhere. So it'll be neck and neck between the two of them. But I think PCA at this point has enough merit to get it.
Yeah, and he's been playing really well at this time of the year, which is great. I mean, he's just crushing the ball. And Ohtani has not pitched in more than a month. And what I read, they don't anticipate him pitching again at all during the regular season. And who knows if he pitches in the playoffs. Will they need him or not? I don't know. Edwin Diaz can't get anybody out in the ninth inning, which as a Mets fan, I've seen this before. I've seen the best of Edwin Diaz, and I have seen this Edwin Diaz. I know there are times where he's a little bit like Armando Benitez. For Met fans will understand what I'm talking about.
Yep.
But he's also been at the other end of that spectrum where he's been virtually unhittable. How much of a problem is this for the Dodgers right now, or is it a problem at all?
No, it's real. He's lost his confidence. I mean, they're throwing him up in mop-up duty at him that usually you reserve for the guys that are on the shuttle between their AAA team, Oklahoma City, and back. So they're trying to boost his confidence in low-leverage situations so he's ready to go. But Shohei will pitch in the postseason. I mean, you saw what Yamamoto did last year. I mean, let's be real. I mean, he'll take another surgery if it means getting a shot at the World Series. I was going to make a gambling joke, but I'll reserve that for now.
Good for you.
You can pretty much assume that he's going to be ready to go in the playoffs.
All right, let me ask you real quick about the Dodgers before we get into the pennant race over the last couple of weeks. Mark Walters, also who owns part of the Dodgers, had to sell his share of the Lakers. Going to have to sell his share of Chelsea Football Club as well, because whether it's loans are coming due or there is insurance fraud, and maybe both, is out money. And I was looking at the Dodgers. He loaned himself the money to buy the Dodgers, much like Matt Ishbia, by the way, who owns the Phoenix Suns, owned himself the money, or rather loaned himself the money to buy the Phoenix Suns. We're getting shady with economics here. How much of a problem is this for the Dodgers if he is forced to sell, and if there's a lot of, like, if the money they're getting from the TV contract is on shaky ground? They've got $1 billion in deferred money owed starting in like 5 years for players. How much of a problem are the Dodgers potentially in here?
All right, so hopefully everybody understands. Like the few times I've talked.
Hold 1 second. I want to be able to hear you. I couldn't hear you for a second. Try again. All right. I think we lost it. Frozen? Back? Are you back? No? I can't. I want Elliot to answer that question. So we're going to call you on the phone because I want Elliot to be able to answer that question. Because I think this is a very, very important deal. I want to bring this up to people. The Dodgers owe Shohei Ohtani $680 million deferred. Will Smith, catcher, $50 million deferred. Freddie Freeman, $57 million. Blake Snell, $65 million. Mookie Betts, $115 million. Justin Turner, $6 million, not even worth talking about. Let's just deal with those 5 players. We're talking about that number starts at like 2033. That is a lot of money. They owe a little bit more than $1 billion in deferred money. So, Elliot, as we pick up this conversation, how much How much does that concern you about the Dodgers?
Well, so there's a couple things to think about here, okay, Adam. One, the previous conversations we've had about how it's really the current CBA negotiation, it looks like it's players against the owners, right? Always, right? That's the way that they always want to try to pretend as though the players are greedy, whatever, okay? And they're really good at getting, the public on their side.
Yes.
It's just the way that the media works. It is what it is, right? So what this actually tells me is one of the other teams have uncovered this, and they're utilizing it to exert pressure on the Dodgers to get them to play ball. This is big business here, Adam, okay?
Right.
Which means that people have known about this for a while, and they're waiting for their opportune time to let it come out. And right now we're approaching September baseball, and so this is going to be the conversation of baseball right now to get them to capitulate, potentially lose one of their owners, have to come up with alternate funding because all the other owners want a piece of that TV deal. That's just the reality of how things are going right now. This is big business, and this is the way that the owners choose to do business, and they're doing it publicly. Why? Because it works. That's why. It's not any more complicated than that. So this could have been handled quietly. Like, he has a couple of options. Really, his only option is to pay cash, move on with his day. But essentially the closed loop of how he's loaning money to himself from other companies, it's not really as I would say above board as it should have been.
Right.
I mean, all he had to do was go to the commissioner to get that approval. He didn't do it. So there's some slap on the wrist that are going to happen because it's the Dodgers, because they're going to be talked about every day from here until, essentially Halloween. They're likely going to close this off quietly behind the scenes. It's not really going to be something that I think gets really, really bad unless they get stubborn and take the hard way. If they take the hard way, then this could end up being a much bigger problem. I think if I were the Dodgers, the conversations I'd be having is let's get this taken care of quietly as much as possible and then never answer a question about it ever again.
He's going to have to sell, isn't he not?
No, not necessarily. They can pick up other investors who wouldn't want to own a piece of the Dodgers.
Sure. Maybe he doesn't sell all of it, but he's got to come up with a whole bunch of money between now and the end of the calendar year that I don't know that because I don't believe he'll be allowed to loan himself this money. So he's going to have it is. I think what you said initially is that it's going to have to be a cash transaction. All right, real quick. Texas, 64 losses in the American League. Minnesota, Toronto, Cleveland, Baltimore, Detroit, 65. I thought Detroit traded away all their players. How is Detroit still in this with they're only one game back in the loss column of making the playoffs?
Look, it's a couple things, Adam, okay? One, they've made it so that you're relevant if you're close to a 500 ball club.
And they're not. They're 4 games under.
I understand, but they're close, right? They're close enough. That division stinks. The White Sox are in first place. Of all the teams in that division, the White Sox have a winning record.
Yep.
I'll give Getzy some credit. He did it. The Asian guy that he picked up, I think Murakami in the home run derby, he's played well. Colson Montgomery's playing great. They've got some guys that are doing really well. I'll give them credit, but that division stinks. And then really, even the American League West, like what happened to Astros, I just don't understand. It should have been the Mariners. The Mariners are basically getting beat up 22-0 right now, so they've got big problems. And then, the Astros, like I'm amazed that they're playing as bad as they are and they're still in this running. I'd really, me, I'd rather not talk about the Astros.
Right.
Hopefully the Rangers can run away with this thing, get, North Carolina native Corey Seager back to the World Series where he belongs. So I think the reason why we have so many more teams in it, it's working exactly the way they wanted. The more eyes that are on the game in September, late August, the better. And if your team is out of it, like the A's, the A's are out of it, right? They're, forget it. They're done. The Royals are done. And they can start packing up and pretending like, they're going to be competitive but play for 2027. But I remember in years past, we would have these conversations long before we are now. So it's working. It's just we're almost celebrating mediocrity by having a 500 ball club and getting in. It's just not the game that I remember growing up watching or playing. It seemed to me that the 162-game season matters more than it does now, but that's basically the route they've chosen to take.
Well, that's what expanded playoffs, that's what it creates. I'm a fan of expanded playoffs. I mean, it might work antithetical to what we're talking about, but I will say this about Detroit. They're third in the American League in run differential. I think, to me, that's the most important stat that you could have over the course of a season. And they are plus 85 or plus 87 right now which is right in line with the Yankees and the Rays. So I give them credit for, playing well enough that they are in touch with making the playoffs. Philadelphia and San Diego, I think, are very good. Who's the best team? Leave the Dodgers out of it. Who's the best team in the National League?
The Brewers.
Okay. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing great. Mizorowski, every time he gets the ball, you basically just assume you're going to win. And he's good, Adam. Oh, my gosh.
I know.
Wow. So he should win the Cy Young this year, and it wouldn't hurt my feelings if they gave him the MVP too. I know that'll hurt your feelings, and really it hurts me as a position player. Like, it should be given to PCA, but it wouldn't hurt me at all what he's doing on the pitching side. Good grief, he's good.
If a pitcher wins, like, I don't believe a relief pitcher should ever win MVP, but if a starting pitcher has a season like he's having, or like Pete Pedro had, or maybe one of those Greg Maddux seasons, then I'm okay with the starting pitcher winning an MVP. Elliot Johnson, 3 home runs in his career off Cy Young Award winners, one of just a handful, might be a big handful, I don't know, of big leaguers to ever do it. Thank you, man.
Pleasure as always, Adam.
You got it. Elliot Johnson here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, we went very long. But I don't want to diminish, and I know I talked about it yesterday and maybe even a little bit the day before, what the Dodgers might be in, the trouble the Dodgers might be in, is not the way they run the team. It's the money behind it. How was that money? What is that money? Not is how was the money gotten? What is the money? Is it actually money? I legitimately think that that's part of the conversation at this point. Is it money, or is it just something that's written on a ledger? And this is why yesterday we had this conversation. It's not a Ponzi scheme, what has happened. But because the Ponzi scheme, theoretically on the balance sheet, you had this amount of money that was written down that belongs to you, except that there was nothing behind it. And I'm not sure that we're not talking about a similar thing with what Mark Walters has done over the course of his business career, and he is a major owner of the Dodgers. I did see pushback on Twitter about, well, people said that every other team, including the Dodgers, could do this. Yeah, every other team could. You just have to understand, maybe not to the extent the Dodgers have done it with over $1 billion of deferred money, but the Dodgers did not invent deferred money contracts. The Cincinnati Reds did that with Ken Griffey Jr. 2 decades ago. Look it up. Max, thank you very much. Nice job. See everybody tomorrow on the Adam Gold Show. We'll wrap up a week for me.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show